to the No Practice Podcast, where we cover the only sport in the world where there is no practice. With your mini rod driving host, Adam Kester, Tyler Slaw, and Chase Richardson. Strap in for some debates on the world of pulling, exclusive special guests, and a whole lot of nonsense BS. The No Practice Podcast starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in for another episode live of the No Practice Podcast, episode number 57, and as always, joined by Mr. Chase Richardson and Adam Kester. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Never better. How are you doing, Tyler?
I'm doing wonderful. And Adam, crystal clear internet, it looks like. You must have installed some fiber or some Starlink or something. You were just as clear as ever. How are we doing, sir?
Well, I'm just going to start with saying that I took all my stuff that I used every other podcast since now, and I threw it in the trash, basically. I'm going straight off the phone this time.
That, you know, it looks as good as ever, I got to say. And speaking of throwing it in the trash, I've got a new Chase Interrupts marker board here. Those that were here last show, I accidentally used a permanent marker on the last one. And so shout out to my sister's coworker, Amy. My sister works at a school, and she's got a coworker that's actually a huge fan of truck and tractor pulling. So she gave me a marker board there. She said I was going to need a new one. So shout out to her for that. So
just like magic markers, nothing's absolute in this world, Tyler. Always a restart.
Well, that's right. And speaking of nothing being absolute, do we want to just get right into it, gentlemen?
Well, I don't know. We have a lot of people that love watching this podcast.
Yeah. First, Chase, I feel like we need an explanation. You know, usually you're in a seedy hotel room or something in some undisclosed location, but you're in a trailer and there's some engines behind you. Where are you at? What are you doing?
So we are. I'm in our hauler, our 18-wheeler that we take primarily to all pulls. We have a second one we take, but it's a 55-foot Kentucky trailer. That's the tag team light mod behind me. My mini rods up top, our support vehicles are up top. We are leaving tomorrow morning to go to the Gator Nationals, NHRA Gator Nationals. Very lucky to be given a display booth there to promote the Southern Swing events in Florida coming up this month. So our two vehicles, as well as the trencher there, Jeremy Yeager, will be there, arrive tomorrow night and on site Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Gainesville, Florida is where the Gator Nationals take place. Zellwood, Florida, I think is within an hour and a half away. Satsuma is less than an hour away. So I always talk about crossover opportunities. It's thankful to NHRA for letting us come to promote these events. We'll be selling tickets, hopefully getting people to go travel not far to those events. And the part that's interesting, you know, people at the Gator Nationals, Adam, I know you've been a lot of drag races, but like I think that ticket's like a $75 ticket, like general admission around that part, and a typical pulling ticket, $25-$30. And then, you know, I think our event down there is 25 pre-advance, 30 at the door. So when you see people, they're like, damn, that's cheap. So hopefully it's a good opportunity for the sport of pulling and get some people to come participate in the Southern Swing. So that's why I'm in my trailer. I'm in Alabama at CFH where we do a lot of our work on our engines and so forth. So that's my backdrop. It's not as good as Adam's, but I'm trying to catch them.
Adam, you just unloaded your stuff from another display yesterday, I believe, right?
Yeah, so we took off Sunday about noon, had to go to Nashville, Tennessee for a Tractor Supply conference, which is in the Music City Center, right in downtown Nashville, right next to Bridgestone Arena. And did a couple days there. It's mostly just store managers and it's not open to the public. So it's more or less, if you see something in a Tractor Supply store, a vendor was there, showcasing their products that they sell in Tractor Supply. And like for the Shell Rotella booth, they were unveiling a new T6 5-gallon bucket. It's all camo now, so I went through to get that. So maybe to catch some eyes of some people. But like they had like 17 regions that they break the country up into, and they took the top 3 and they put them on a board of the highest sellers, and they give them, special hardware and extra gifts for selling really good, and it's just a chance to meet up with all the all the store managers are there, so you can see if things need to be done, product needs to be, their inventory needs to be upped or anything like that. Got a lot of people to sit in the seats of the tractor. I took the black tractor with me, and got I don't know, probably 80, 85 people sat in the tractor and got their pictures taken, and had some good conversations with a lot of people. Promoted a bunch of our pulls. It's kind of neat that these people come up from all different areas. I had a lot of people from Wisconsin that go to Toma. A lot of people from Ohio that know about our sport. I promoted a few more people to come down to the Chapel Hill Line Super Bowl of the South. There's a lot of people from Tennessee there, so it's pretty neat to get to talk to a lot of them people and try to grow our sport and further one of our our fan base. So it was a good time.
And Adam, Tractor Supply along with Shell Rotella is your sponsor, right? Like is one of your tractors going to be Tractor Supply?
Yeah. So we were sponsored. We got sponsored in 1998 by Pennzoil, which is under the umbrella Shell, Pennzoil, Quaker State. There was a few other brands that they had. So we've been sponsored since 1998. I think in 2010 we got switched to the Rotella brand. And then we've had some hit and miss of different sponsors that tag along with Shell. We had a few years ago like Orscheln and Rule King and Farm and Fleet, a bunch of different companies, and Tractor Supply was part of it. So this year they signed up. They want to do the whole year again. So it's pretty neat to have another sponsor on board.
For sure. And speaking of hardware and TSC, whenever I'm working on my old garbage trucks and stuff like that, I always go to TSC because that's the only place that you can buy the grade 8 hardware by the pound. You go to some like hardware stores, one grade 8 3/8 bolt is 89 cents. No, at TSC, you grab all your lock washers, your flat washers, your hardware, your bolts, your nuts, your lock nuts. And if it's all grade 8, you just set the whole bag on the scale. You pay by the pound. It's way cheaper per piece. So shout out to TSC for having that discount by the pound.
Where's like for where we live, I think the place, obviously there's a separation of shit you got to order that you got shipped in and then go to town and grab this. I think Tractor Supply owns that for us, at least in Litchfield.
Yeah, I was actually working an angle. The Tractor Supply from us is about 40-minute drive. It's on the far east side of town, which is in between Evansville and Newburgh and Boonville. And that's a lot of non-rural areas. And I was kind of like hinting at them that maybe they should think about adding a location more centralized to the farmers and stuff where I am over here. And they took a lot of interest in it. So the people are willing to listen to you.
Adam, I'm curious. I was going to actually ask you this off air, but it's what better time than now. We just say the same shit off air as on air, right?
Right.
How many people generally know tractor pulling? Like, if you had to put a percentage of the people that come and stop and talk to you, how many people know tractor pulling in your experiences of doing these shows? I'm sure every show's a little different, but
yeah. So this is quite interesting because we're dealing with the whole country. I mean, even including Hawaii. I'm going to say 40% know what pulling is. A lot of the times I have to explain. Everybody wants to know how fast it'll go, and I have to reiterate what we're doing. And then the people that have seen it, they go, "I didn't realize it was this small in person."
Yeah,
everything
Chase
I guess
has heard
on TV
that
looks
before.
bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's heard that before. Yeah, I'm sure. But no, I mean, everybody loves it. And my job, obviously, is to promote our sport. So I give them what I can about where they can see us. If I always try to associate, I always look down at their name tag and ask them, "No, where are you from?" And it's really funny. I can about correlate a location and somebody I know through pulling that lives in that area. So it's really funny the amount of people that I talked to that knew other people in the sport. Talked to a guy from Pennsylvania that was talking about Waynesburg Tractor, and it wasn't registering in my head what was going on. And I'm like, yeah, so buddy I know, or a couple of buddies I know, they got Chaos Fabrication in Washington, PA, and they're like, oh yeah, we know where that's at. And I didn't even realize that we were talking about the same person. Waynesburg Tractor's Ross Tractor Sales. The guy knew Colin Ross and their families. So like it's really a small world in the big picture when you look at all the stuff about like people that know people. I'll tell you the craziest story of the whole deal, and we talked about it the last show, is I was telling everybody about my head-on collision with the safe on the front of my tractor. So I'm in day 2 as a Monday and Tuesday show, and went from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. both days. And Friday I went to lunch, and I had lunch with Tractor Supply people and Shell Rotella people. And, we just got to know each other and stuff. They've been doing business forever. I was just new to the whole deal. So on Saturday, I didn't go to lunch, and I just started walking around the show, looking at all the vendor stuff. And I go across where the gun safes are, and I see Field and Stream on these gun safes. And I thought, man, those look awfully close to mine. I kept walking. I stopped, I turned around, I came back, I started looking, and it was Browning's safe. So when lunch got over at 1:15, the people were let back into all the people, the vendors come back into the room, and I waited for them, and the 2 guys sat down, and I just said to the one guy, I said, I don't know if this is going to bring anything up or not, but like about a month ago, somebody sent in a car head-on colliding with one of your guys' safe. And he's like, yeah, I got that video on my phone. How'd you know about that? I said, I'm the guy. He's like, no way. So the other dude, he comes around from the back. He goes, I hear something about a car and a gun safe. And it ended up being the guy that I talked to on the phone.
Jeez.
And telling the whole story. So he just couldn't believe that, 1 month after it happened, we're meeting face to face. He came over and looked at the tractor, and he's really interested. I was maybe working an angle or two, trying to maybe get some sponsorship opportunity out of him, but very thankful to those guys. But it was pretty neat to run into the people I just dealt with on an unfortunate circumstance, I guess.
I'm glad to hear you're a guy that doesn't want to ruin the sport, Adam. You're quite the ambassador.
I got to say, I thought I was going to fact check Adam on that while he was talking there, and I looked it up, and indeed, there is a Tractor Supply in Hawaii.
Tyler will call you out now. There's straight up black and white talk, then sometimes there's beer talk, and Tyler likes to fact check you in real time, and it's like standing in front of a jury.
No, so, sure is.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I know you all are still working on your stuff, but like pulling's here for us, and a lot of people going to Florida and so forth. And there's pulling all this month. It's not just what we're participating in. Like shit, I think pulling's a 9-month, 10-month. It's easily a 11-month a year sport at this point, different levels. But
it's wild.
I'm pretty excited. We have put this back together. We, like a lot of teams, do our end of year service and pretty well put it back how it was into last year, and had a new mini rod that we had built, modern machine. And just like you all know, when you're building a new vehicle, you think, oh, we'll have it done in a couple of days, and then a couple of days turns into a week or two because it's a nonstop process of the dumb stuff to get it done. But finally cracked it. Started the new mini rod today, and excited to run that thing, hopefully respectably.
I got to ask, Chase, there was a video going around on your UD Facebook page, and it was like a mod chassis, the old one that said for sale on the fenders. And it clearly looked like it had been borderline stored in a lean-to or outdoors covered in dust.
It was in Desert Storm.
Yeah, it looked like a, I don't know, was that an Engler chassis? It looked like it was.
That was homemade.
Homemade built.
Yeah, we're the numbers for Southern Swing are really good. We just want to add another one for Donald to drive. So working on Donald getting that together for himself. Haven't talked to him today, but I think he's still got a lot of work to do.
Are you putting a second light mod together? Is that what that was hinting at?
Donald, no, we gave it to him to run. We said if you get this ready, we'll give you the engines to run. So I haven't heard from him in a couple of days, but we'll see.
Yeah, he's probably very busy for sure. Well, gentlemen, speaking of very busy, I feel like we need to address the elephant in the room on our potential guest this evening.
Elephants?
Well, we were going to have the sled surfer, as Josh Stevens says in the comment there. We were going to have him on our show, and we received quite a bit of criticism for that. And clearly our intention was to not have him on here and romanticize someone doing that or encourage other people doing that or even make light of him doing that. It's my understanding he's quite remorseful, feels like an idiot, for lack of better terms, knows he screwed up. He actually, we got a statement from him. Yes. Is this the time to read this? So his statement is, "Good evening. I am the fan that made a very poor choice while attending a sled pulling event recently. I admit it was uncalled for and was not intended to cause the negativity it has. I didn't foresee the repercussions and ripple effect that this action has caused and could cause in the future. The act could have caused the possibility of injury to others or myself, as well as the responsibility of causing damage to the sport and events similar to this. It was fueled by fun with friends, and I am more aware now and want others to be in the future. My sincere apologies. I'm a fan of the sport. I'm a huge fan of these events. Please accept this as my attempt at a second chance as a fan." So our intention to have him on here was not to be like, "Oh, hell yeah, brother, you should jump on the sled at an event," because that would be effing ridiculous, right? We all know that. We all love this sport, or we wouldn't spend so much time doing what we do. I don't know if it was negativity driven on Facebook, but he decided not to come on here and basically explain why what he did was and is a horrible idea that no one should do. Just taking an example from my life, when you'd go to youth group and they'd have somebody bring in and tell you not to do drugs, they wouldn't bring someone on that never did that. They'd always bring somebody on that made the wrong choice, and it speaks volumes when you hear directly from the person that made the wrong choice tell you not to do that because it's not a very good idea. And he's probably dealing with some ramifications from that as well. So our plan was to give him somewhat of a platform, not to make him a celebrity and not to encourage other people to do this, but to say, guys, this is stupid. Don't do this. And fortunately, I feel like there's not very many events that even give you the landscape to do this if you wanted to. So people saying like, "Oh, it's going to get our sport canceled." Like, you can't go to Toma and Bowling Green and jump on top of the sled. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people like really upset at us that we were going to have him on here. I feel like I'm just rambling now. I'll shut my mouth and let you guys talk on the topic.
You know what I got to say is get over it. I mean, it happened. You can't take it back. It happened. People learn from it. I think maybe promoters might go, "Oh, maybe we need to beef up our security here in a few areas." Maybe it's not on the organization. Just saying. But obviously, there was a lot of stuff on the on Facebook with the internet of some people thought it was hilarious. Some people thought it was, a major scar for the sport. The fact of the matter is nobody got hurt, and there's something to learn from it. Plain and simple.
He may have gotten a little boo-boo out of the deal, but I would say more seriously, like, long term, don't be stupid. Like, even if you have the opportunity to be stupid, don't be stupid, because this guy, I mean, it sucks for the guy pulling the truck, right? It sucks for the people at the event for sure. But this guy's going to
did they not cancel the rest of the poll? Did they not cancel the rest of the poll after that happened?
From what I understand, I think they did, but I think
they
not
called her quits
for anything that I don't know for sure on this topic.
It's hard to prevent dumb people from being dumb, no matter no matter how hard you try.
Well, as Travis Slawbuck tractor says there's a sticker on it somewhere that says, "Life is hard. It's even harder when you're stupid."
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that
Like,
guy's
look,
probably learning that.
I don't. We put ourselves on this platform, and we've had a lot of fun doing it. And we have, like it or dislike it, we have people that watch us, and we don't take ourselves that serious, but want to tune into what is going on in pulling. And when you decide to do that, you put yourself in a situation where people can be critical of us or what we decide to do. And I just want to be very clear, Adam and Tyler, we don't always see eye to eye, but we make decisions together on this podcast. I mean, I don't think anyone says we're doing this right now. We fight behind the scenes, but like we do this stuff. We don't really practice, but like key decisions on who we're bringing on is discussed a little bit. And whenever you do something like this, like we're doing, like I don't take offense to passionate people that care about this sport, because I think you need a lot of people like that. And look, at the end of the day, if someone thinks that our intention is to not do anything outside of help grow this sport, they need to go watch 56 episodes of this prior, because there's always one or two, but I think our intention's always pretty clear. And look,
I think what you're trying to say in a small realm is that we caught some guff for maybe having this guy on. Nobody tells us who we are not going to have on this podcast.
Yeah,
you may have got a little bit lucky because his lawyer probably stepped in and said, "Hey, maybe you don't do this."
Who knows?
I was all for having him on here,
but
I want to ask him how big of an idiot he is.
I respect opinions, though. Like, look, we need
Yeah,
when you jump in the water, you better be able to swim, boys. That's the way I look at it. And like, I don't take offense to any of that. And like, I just want to make sure everyone knows that the guy was sincere. I actually spoke to him myself, and he wanted to apologize on the biggest platform in pulling. I'm just being blunt. Like, I'm sure he's going through some stuff that giving a statement would probably help him. So
I like Mark Clement's comment. The male motto applies here. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Well, I don't ever want to. We always say we don't want to talk about politics, but like, dude, I hope I don't offend someone when I say this, but
careful.
Whenever it comes to like gun control, and look, guns don't kill people. People kill
we're not.
Right?
We're not
So, like, you can't control fucking idiot. Like, if someone wants to go do something, you can't stop them from doing it.
Yeah. Hey, Kenzie, if you don't mind, leave the comments up. I'm on my phone. I'd like to read the comments as they go through. So if you could do that, it would be excellent. But
and I
like seeing the feedback from the fans here on this.
I do see
not the right point of view. I have an opinion like everyone else.
Yeah, I do see Tim commenting saying only had one truck left after, quote, the incident, and he did get to run it. We see Chris checking in saying, I'm glad he is remorseful. We see Pull Party HQ saying, I get enough hate comments and messages about promoting the party aspect of pulling, so I have no desire to be dumb jumping on a sled, for the record. At a boy, that's the attitude. You can have a couple beers, just try not to make dumb decisions. So I feel like we needed to.
If you want to make a really dumb decision, show up at the pull, come to my trailer, Tyler's trailer, Chase's trailer, and just give us like $10,000 or $15,000. That's a dumb decision that we'll take on every day.
If you want to make a dumb decision, you just strut on over with two beers and demand that you're going to beat me shotgunning a beer. That's a dumb decision. All right, we'll just call it
burning methanol as a campfire. That could ruin pulling too, right?
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I want to. The people that chimed in, I personally appreciate your passion and your interest.
Oh, same.
I just want to make sure that everyone knows, like, our intent, no matter what we do, is always going to be the same. We wouldn't waste our time doing this or put ourselves out there to do that. And I'm really sorry if we offended you. If you're a leader in this sport, or call yourself a leader, or think you're a leader, our phones ring. Like my phone, you probably have it. If you're a leader in this sport and you have a problem, call me. I'll promise I'll answer or call you back. I'm not hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, you might get, hey, I'll call you back in a minute, but he'll call you back.
I always call back. So, but if you have a problem,
Adam and I,
if you're a leader, call us.
Adam and I have.
Don't get on Facebook or go stir shit up. That's the last I'm talking about it.
Adam and I have JOBs all day, so Chase is the official secretary correspondence of the podcast for sure.
Yeah.
So if you have to reach out to someone, it's him, no question.
And nobody screws up more than me, I promise.
I only got two things to say, and this is to everybody listening.
You said two.
Yeah, I got two. Two, Chase, two. Nobody tells us who we can or can't have on this podcast, and nobody requests to be on the podcast. We always make that decision. If you call wanting to be on the podcast, you're going to the end of the line, sucker.
Well, Tyler, Adam, and I have colorful conversations about who we want on this podcast. Maybe we can do it behind the scenes that one day, because they'll throw a name out and I'm saying, all right, get this guy on, and we'll do it. So it's always fun.
It's a whirlwind for sure. So
we appreciate y'all. Last we'll talk about it. The guy said he's sorry. I hope in this world we live in, we can all forgive people. But that's.
I'm sorry too. I'm sorry too that we had to talk about this for 15 minutes.
I'm sorry as well.
I'm not really sorry for anything. Everybody that corrected us and said we were idiots, you're probably right. We're three idiots. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
All right. We don't have a clue. So when we mess up, feel free to call us out on it. How about that? Should we move on to some fan questions, gentlemen? How about that?
Always good. Always good.
Always good.
Yeah.
Let's get this started. We're going to move on from that nonsense. Hey, Adam, does your sister and Craig still pull? I seen Longs had their truck in Tampico last summer. You should have them on the podcast sometime.
That's a good idea. They do not pull currently. They sold the truck that they had, the red C10, the beautiful truck they had. They did sell it to the Longs. Craig has purchased a chassis from no other than the Richardsons. But he has
into the high stakes series.
But he has 0 engines, so I don't think he's going to be pulling anytime soon.
I bet he knows a guy that can hook him up with some engines.
Yep, we're elbow deep in engines right now.
Adam,
so
I think you should shout out. I'm Adam's family and myself are close. You have some young nieces that are athletes and kicking ass. That's probably a big part of their commitment right now, right?
Oh yeah, they're definitely all in on the softball and basketball, and they also do a cattle, pigs. I mean, they're into the stuff right now that are teaching those girls, life lessons. Not that tractor pulling doesn't, but they're taking a little break right now, and I'm sure they'll be back at some point in time.
So, what chassis did Craig purchase from the Richardson stable?
David built a new foursome tractor last year, even though it looked identical to the other one, basically.
Oh.
So, Craig actually bought David's tractor.
Okay.
And bought the gearboxes. I think he bought the fuel tanks, the gearboxes.
He bought everything. He could run
clutches,
forward,
bell housings. I mean,
he could run
everything's
forward,
there.
Whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wishes. I don't know what Craig's plans are. They just built a new house not too long ago, and in a new shed, and they're relocating their family to a different school district and all kinds of stuff. So it's going to take them a few years before they're back, I'd say.
Well, it's good to hear that they're going to come back, and I say when they do come back after that first event back at it, they're the next guest on the show.
Sure.
Yep. I look forward to seeing them back competing, because every time they pull, like Adam in the bloodlines, they're pretty badass. So
and their stuff is always just pristine looking too.
Yeah,
you got to give that to them.
Yeah.
All right, next question here. Thoughts on streaming pulls? Good/bad for pullers, fans, promoters? I mean, I think it's good. I've never not went to a concert because I could hear the same music on the radio. It's always better in person, but I will say it's always more fun to go to a concert when you're familiar with the songs from hearing them on the radio. So I feel like when you live stream an event, it builds anticipation for when you go to one. But that's just me. I don't feel like anybody ever skips out on going to one because they're able to watch it at home. That's just not the same.
I agree. I couldn't have probably said that any better, Tyler. That was a good analogy, I guess, for that. I think streaming pools are good. I mean, if you can get eyeballs on the thing is as good as it gets. Now, of course, would you like it to be free? Absolutely, But let's face it, it's not that way right now. But it has never turned me off of going to a pool just because I can watch it on my phone or at home. So I don't think it hurts. The fans still show up in my mind. So
I don't.
agree with you.
I don't. It really depends on the people in charge what their priorities are. I mean, if you have a priority of trying to get like only worried about your 1 weekend a year, not caring about anything else, and collecting every penny you can, I mean, streaming's probably not your thing. I mean, but if you want to grow a sport and grow fandom, I think it depends on the priority of the people in charge. I mean, me personally, obviously, I think it's great. I think it builds fandom. I think we need people that are showing up to the Farm Machinery Show, showing up to Toma and Bowling Green to be fans, 51 weeks of the year outside of that. I mean, and obviously this podcast is we have fun. We talk about a lot of stuff, but like we're creating fandom, and I'd like to think that people want to keep up pulling outside that 1 week a year. So, but it depends on the priority of the people involved. My opinion is it's great for pulling, but if there's someone that doesn't have the same view of me, it may be different.
To me, it gives you that little dangling carrot where you want more. Like I've never walked in and smelled a sugar cookie candle and been like, well, I don't want to eat cookies anymore because I can smell them and that's good enough for me. You walk in and you get that little taste and you're like, oh, I want the actual thing now. But that's just a story that ends with me eating a candle.
$1,000 tickets if you couldn't listen to her music.
What's that?
I said Taylor Swift wouldn't sell $1,000 tickets to a concert if you couldn't listen to her music. So
yeah, Chase always bringing it back to Taylor Swift. Typical. Next question.
We're the same age.
If you three had to be tech officials for an event, what duties would you least like to do and most like to do, and why? Adam, why don't you start?
What duties would be least like to do and why? That's a good question.
Hey, we all want a bitch. Now's our time to say what would we fix.
Well, I tell you what, like, I don't know if we're talking about tech officials or a flagman. I would love to be the end flagman at the end of the track.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I watch some of these guys at the end of the track, and it's like they got the best seat in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. I'd love to be standing right next to a 500 Unlimited when it spins out. I would probably be wearing more than a pair of safety glasses, though. Just saying.
No, Adam.
Speaking of, we got to shout out. We have a well-known flagman tech official coming on part of the show. This will be something we can revisit. So, Tyler, your turn on the answer. I'll wait till you're done.
I'll think about the negative. Think about the negative.
I mean, least likely to do, I'm going to have to say some of these pulls when people kind of wait to get their stuff out of the trailer, and at these certain events when it's 95 degrees and these guys are just going around trailer to trailer to trailer to trailer. And then inevitably after the driver's meeting, there's always a couple people when they're like, has anybody not been teched yet? And there's, about 4 hands popping up here and there. And I'm like, goodness, like these poor guys have just been walking around all day in 95-degree heat and just, they're doing it. They're doing their part. So I think that'd be my least favorite part. I think my favorite part would be deciding when to say to start. Bruce is real big on keeping the show moving. He's a big Don Slama guy like that. And so he always has me strap in my tractor when it's about 16 vehicles before I actually have to hook. And so I'll always be sitting there, and in my head, I'll observe the track, and I'm watching the guy that signals to start. And I'll often count down in my head, and I'm like, okay, he's going to signal in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I try to guess it, and I'm getting pretty good at that. So If I don't do that, I accidentally fall asleep while strapped into my tractor, and then sometimes they have to wake me up to tell me it's my turn to go.
I've seen that. You
Yeah.
start meditating, bro. You're like
My tractor is just so comfortable, especially when I can have my feet outside the frame rails, that I mean, it's like you're reclined back. Like we put that seat in there just perfectly, where I mean, you're nice and relaxed. I have fallen asleep in the seat of my tractor, no question, probably over 100 times.
I've seen you asleep. I'm like, dude, is he praying or is he just out?
I mean, I try to speak to Jesus real quick before I run, but yeah, I fall asleep all the time in the seat of it.
Yeah.
All right, Chase.
I always do a I don't know. It's kind of weird. You take a moment to take a breath and, ask for safety. It's kind of something you can't replicate, right? When you're sitting in that vehicle strapped in. So, to answer your question on this, Luke C, least favorite would probably be a guy walking around and teching all the vehicles in the 100-degree heat in July.
You can't take my answer, Chase. You got.
I said 100 degrees. You didn't say 100 degrees.
Oh, I said 95. Yeah, that's a big difference.
So, yeah.
Sorry.
I concur with Tyler on that. Shout out to all the tech officials that do that. There's so much that goes on in making a pull happen. Those guys got to go, and then it's one of those vibes too. I'm guilty. I've apologized to guys. Like, show up to the trailer, like, dude, we pull every weekend. Why are you nitpicking what I'm doing? But like, they're doing a job, and it very rarely are like they go over to make friends, So I got a lot of respect for tech officials that do that and go to the trailer. My favorite job to do, this is not a job, but like, I hate cheaters in anything. And I would love to be the guy when someone comes off the track to measure drawbars and all kinds of stuff, and especially mini rod class, because we all know that those things can be manipulated. I would love to be that guy who, all right, you're good, go. But that doesn't really happen. So,
subtle jab there at the end, Chase. All right, we're not going to dig into that. Moving on.
But people make honest mistakes too, Tyler. Like these things. Rods are.
Yeah, you're backpedaling there. I see that. All right, next question here. The question is for Chase. Will the Bud Light? No, that's not right. It's supposed to be Busch Light. Will the Busch Light Nationals move to different venues year after year?
Yeah, I think he was talking Busch Light. Great
I'll
question.
clarify.
Evansville, we're planning. There's a long-term agreement in place with those guys, so I think that weekend after Memorial Day will be something you see for years to come. But the summer pulling schedule, where you guys are running, where I'm running, everywhere, like, it's pretty stable. There's plenty of events, so I don't think it's ideal to add anything to that. So to answer your question, no, the Busch Light Nationals will be in Evansville for a long time. I don't foresee there being another window in the schedule to take away from the historical events that exist. And this deal in Florida, the Southern Swing event's pretty exciting. I think there could be not the same classes, but there could be other opportunities to put some stuff elsewhere in warmer climates if it works itself out. But no to answer the question, and it is the Busch Light Nationals, not Bud Light Nationals.
Fair enough. It's staying in Evansville, and it's the Busch Light Nationals.
Always the weekend after Memorial Day.
Always the weekend after Memorial Day.
Yeah.
All right, next question here. Tyler, for how much you flipped? Okay, this is very positive.
What a starter!
Yeah, Chase, that's almost an interruption.
Right.
Tyler, for how much you flip, yet your chassis don't break, why don't you build chassis for Mike Evans? Well, I don't know who should be more insulted here, me or Mr. Mike Evans, but I guess regardless, I'm in good company.
For how much you flip? What
yeah.
It's like saying, like, for all the money you have?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, not at all. So really, this is actually a pretty fair comparison because Mike Evans and I are a bit unique that aside from some people, like maybe Todd Boltman, and the Fenster makers, there's a couple other people, but us and Mike Evans are the few and the far between that are dumb enough to build our own chassis rather than purchase one. And so what we do after it flips, and I would imagine Mike's process is pretty similar to mine. It's pretty easy, actually. You just drop it off somewhere and write a check. No, that's not how that goes at all. What you do is you strip the motor out of the tractor. You take everything down to a bare set of frame rails. We take it across the driveway to a different building where we have this big Blanchard ground plate, our chassis table, where we build chassis. And at this point, the tractor's nothing. It's a roll cage, a set of frame rails. Sometimes we'll leave like the third member in the planetaries in it, but you set it on this chassis table. You can see where things are tweaked, where things are buckled. You'll kind of raise things up on 1, 2, 3 blocks in certain areas, and you'll kind of pull strings on it and see what's bent, what's tweaked. There was a time, I think it was the wreck that I had in Nashville, Illinois. My front rails were kind of kicked and bent sideways. So what we did was we put like a 16-inch long 4x4 right at the spot that it was kinked, and we took like a 6-inch ratchet strap from the back of the chassis where it's super rigid, and we put it around that 2x4 to the front, and we ratcheted as much as we possibly could, and we'd get it to where it was straight, and we would release the tension, and it would spring back to almost right where it was. And we're like, oh, well, this is clearly no good. We're going to have to go way beyond where our finish goal is. So you're tightening this ratchet strap so tight. You've got the floor jack handle off, jammed in the ratchet mechanism. And when I say a 6-inch ratchet strap, I mean, this is legit a 6-inch ratchet strap, not a chase 6 inches. It's an actual legit setup. And so you put so much tension on this chassis that the front frame rails are beyond straight, like the other way, like 10 to 12 inches. And then you release the ratchet strap, and all your parallels and 1, 2, 3 blocks go flying because it's under so much tension. And then you start pulling a string on it, and you're like, well, doggone, like that's pretty good right there. And then you notice that just like one corner is up a little ways because we have all these plates that you can bolt in at certain spots to make sure the drive line's going to line up and all that. And so we'll like space up one side in the front and both in the back, and we'll tweak like the front of the chassis down. And then we'll notice that plates are no good. But all the plates, we get lasered out. We got CAD drawings of them. So we'll measure over 1.5 inches, and we'll get out the cutoff wheel, and we'll remove a plate, and then everything springs, and all of a sudden your front frame rails are like 40 inches apart, and you're like, well, that was clearly under some tension. And so then you get the CAD drawing out, and you modify the plate, and you get one of those done, and you get everything clamped back into place, and you weld that. And all your support bars, if those are kinked, you cut those out and you add a new one. And, after all that, you got to imagine why things just don't hook up as good as they did when it was new. And it's probably because everything is just stressed, twisted, and beat to crap. But yeah, that's probably why I should take the time to build a new chassis, because in like a metallurgist's eyes, mine is just a spaghetti of fragments of mutilated, twisted alloys. But, she gets the job done. So I think Mike Evans' process is pretty similar to that. I don't know.
So Tyler, I'm not trying to put your news is yours and your dad's to report, but what's your plan for 2026 as far as your chassis and setups and so forth?
Well, I'll be honest. Bruce bought a chassis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I didn't even ask him if I could tell this. And I don't even know if it's going to be done in time for pulling season.
Does he have it yet?
He does.
Oh.
It's sitting in his shop. But he didn't do a Chase setup where he picked up like Chase, be honest. Did you wire in your kill switch? Did you build your steering? It's turnkey, right?
I wired it the last 2 days, yeah. With
Did
the
you?
help of
Okay.
others. Yeah.
I'm just picking on you. I got to. We had
No, it's a valid question.
Yeah.
As long as you don't think we're here to ruin pulling, this is a win for me tonight.
Yeah. Well, after our apology tour earlier, I feel like we need to work in some humor here. Mm-hmm. So, like, Bruce gets a chassis, but per his request, I'm by no means knocking who made it. He got exactly what he asked for. Bruce, he's like, well, I'll build the driveline shielding. I'll mount the seat in it. I'll do my own throttle. I'll do my own brakes. I'm pretty sure I want to build my own wheelie bars. No, I don't need any spindles on the front of it at all. I'll do all that myself. Don't bother giving me any weights for it or anything. I'll get the kill switch mounted, everything in the cab. Don't worry about any of that. I'll handle this and that. And so he's like, all right, I got the new chassis, and it's on the chassis table that I spoke of. But I'm like, ooh, brother, you got a lot of work to do before that's going to go down the track. So that's Bruce's plan.
When's your all's first plane outing? I guess the Polar Championship, right?
Yeah. Another event you're not invited to, Chase. That is the Polar Championship. Adam and I will be there. We'll send you Snapchats, Chase. So
numbers don't lie, do they, boys?
No, yeah, that's right. No, I think shout out to Mike Evans because he goes through a similar process that is probably a ton of fun also, where he just endures the pain of doing it himself.
And I know we said this before, but like, dude, I don't know if I respect any person more mini rod pulling than Mike Evans for what he does and tries to do. Something outside the box week in, week out. I know a fan or someone might say, what the hell is that guy doing? But like, mad respect for that guy for not caring to fail and put himself out there. So always a salute to Mike.
Yes. I in a perfect world, because Mike Evans is also joining Adam and I on the Pro Pulling League High Stakes Series. Chase will tell you how it goes. And
why did y'all get in that? Did anyone ever confirm?
Chase, come on, let's not be.
No, seriously. Like, what is the criteria? Did anyone ever say? Because I think I'm at call. Like, I'm at message 18 or 19 and no correspondence.
Yeah. Well, they say persistency is king, so you just keep on it. Anyway, in my perfect world, because we know Mike Evans has got power, right? But he struggles to get it tame enough to get it to the ground. And I hope that at one of these high stakes events, that guy just puts like 23, that's a bit much, puts like 13 and a half foot on second place and walks away with that $10,000 check. I'm always happy to see other people win. I mean, sure, I want to win. Everybody does, right? But it's fun. It's fun when you see somebody bust their butt and walk away with a first place. The only thing is whenever that happens, I'm just like, oh, that person's screwed. And somebody goes, what do you mean? I'm like, well, hell, they might have been getting ready to quit and give it up, but that win right there, that'll buy them another 5 years to keep doing this for sure.
Well said.
Everybody needs to do good or else you lose interest.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it depends how effed up your brain is too, Adam. It's some people think, oh, I'll get this one day, and then they die never getting it. But hopefully that's not the case for anybody.
Yeah. And I think yes, I want to win, but in a perfect world, you would almost have a different winner at every single event all summer. How fun would that make a point series if it was that diversified?
I mean, Adam, the Grand National Circuit last year, was there many repeat winners? Adam Bauer, I think, was only one, wasn't he? We can go back and look, but like, dude, it was freaking a rock fight because it seemed like everyone was taking turns winning. I might be wrong.
I think I won 2 pulls.
You did, yeah. You won Napoleon in the first one. That's right. But still, yeah, that's
Well, I won polls. Like I won Farley, but that was just a prelim,
That still counts.
I guess. Yeah, so 3 wins, I guess.
Did you put a sticker on your door for it?
What?
3 wins in 25.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think no. I know I don't tally them and know the record of how many I've won, but
what are you guys getting at by that?
Yeah, what are you trying to say, Chase?
I think you should be proud you won 3. I haven't won 3 in 2 years.
If you back up a couple of years, I didn't even sniff the top 10. I don't think there for a while. So
yeah, no, it's pretty exciting. The mini rod class every year just grows, and everyone's just that much better. And we said this when we were on this podcast when we were getting fandom going, but I still say it's the most badass class in pulling.
Yeah, you might be biased though. I don't know.
Well,
you always gotta take what you say with a grain of salt for sure.
Well, I'm just saying from the competitive standpoint, the mass amounts of people. And as Adam said, when you roll in and see one of these damn things and you don't know what's going on, like who the hell would strap in that, right? So,
Yeah. Everybody always tends to mention that the drive shaft goes between your legs, and you know, I guess I forgot about that. But
yeah,
I mean,
I something I'm doing different. I didn't even tell you all. I showed you a picture of the new tractor. We put a reverser in this new mini rod where basically we can't change the gear. So with the effort to move weight forward, so be curious to see how that works.
Just to be clear, you have a planetary that achieves your desired overall reduction. You only run a reverser behind the bell housing without any reduction, correct?
Correct. It's 1-to-1.
So I'm gonna say we saw Kevin Campbell do this last year, right? This is nothing new.
I think Jeff Hurt and Kevin at some points did it, but yeah.
So what are you thinking? 30 some pounds. So for those that don't know, an SCS twin counter shaft, you have the one gear coming in that's driving two gears, which are on a shaft driving two other gears, which drives the single gear of the output shaft. So you're eliminating 6 gears and probably
it's 35. I think it's 34 pounds is the exact measurement, if I'm not mistaken.
So 34 pounds less in the middle of the tractor, so that you can presumably put that right on the nose, right, Chase?
That and some other, we put lighter weight fenders on it. Like I think the tractor is going to have almost 40 more pounds up front, which I'm a bigger guy. Bush lights put the LBs on me, so hopefully it'll help keep running down.
What are you tipping the scales at now, boy?
Depends what time of day it is, Tyler.
Well, pull time, buddy.
I'm probably 225, probably.
Okay, I don't feel quite so bad. So I used to be pretty thick, a couple C's worth at the end. I was like 240 last year, and then at the end of the year I got down to 182, and then with pulling season coming up, I was stepping on the scale the other day and I was 222 pounds again. So hence why I'm drinking water rather than like 15 beers tonight, because I'm trying to cut
what's funny? No, I know.
Tyler.
We got to show fans this. Sorry, guys. We were on before the show, and Adam's like, man, I'm drinking water. Now Tyler's drinking water. Like, this, if you don't think this shit ain't serious, look at these two idiots.
So 220, and you were down in 180. That's a pretty big leap.
That's a 40 lb swing. That's a lot of Panda Express is what that is, my man.
So for all you fans that worry, the option is to wrap my nuts around the bell housing or try to get a reverser. I chose to get a reverser.
Yeah. I'm like, perhaps I just eat a couple more meals and I move my seat further forward than what it is, and everything will be fine, huh?
Yeah. But no, it's gonna be awesome. I'm pulling is very exciting right now, and it's gonna be an awesome summer.
So if you can't keep the front end down now, what's your excuse?
Well, you don't know. I couldn't keep the front end down before, Adam.
That's true.
Yeah, it just didn't run hard enough to get the front end up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. I don't know. I mean, I had such a bad year pulling mini rods last year. I'm kind of just starting over, to be honest.
You kind of gave up, didn't you? You didn't even go to all of them?
Yeah, I surrendered.
Maybe that's why you didn't make the high stakes series, Chase.
I think we need to say that for another day. Maybe we can get the leadership involved and understand criteria. Yeah. I don't want to. I think it is an amazing opportunity for pulling, and I'm jealous of you two, but I would love to just talk to leadership to see how they decided who's in and who's out. But maybe you two can work that out.
Chase, it's kind of like the farm show. There's just some higher powers that they make the decisions, and it just works out all right. So
yeah, let's grow pulling, right? Let's grow pulling. Nobody knows what's going on, but we're going to make this bigger, right?
No, yeah, come on now.
I was going to, Tyler, one more thing on the weight loss program. If you want to lose some weight, I hear if you chug a bottle of magnesium citrate, that it'll help you lose a couple pounds.
Brother, I'm not looking to just fill my shorts with dirt water. I'm not doing that.
I've seen some pretty interesting stories about people that do that.
Well, that just
Maybe
empties your belly.
maybe that can be a segment on weight loss. I cannot believe you two are drinking water right now. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm kudos to you all though.
Yeah, Mr. Darren Jones saying, Tyler, just move in front of the motor. I feel like most people are kind of sarcastic, but I feel like some people actually think that maybe I weigh more than the motor. But if I sit in front of the motor, then we got to move the motor back, and I'm a pretty sturdy boy, but the motor still outweighs me. Because believe me, if I could make that work, I would try. But I mean, they wouldn't even let me keep sitting where I was. They made me change things and all that. So I mean, I feel like we kind of pushed that as far as what it can be pushed. They kind of threw a wrench in that per se. So
we're trying to ruin pulling. That's what we did.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
All right, I think our first guest is on deck. Tyler, I think it would be appropriate for you to give him an intro. You'll see him a lot this summer. He's one, in my opinion, probably one of the best flagman tech officials in the industry. We have a black screen back there.
Yeah. A backstage is telling us that they're back there, but their screen is still black. Their camera's not turned on. So perhaps this will be just the prod we need to get him to turn his camera on. See, everybody always thinks that we've got all this dialed down, when in reality, we're kind of killing time right now because we're waiting for our guest to come on. So, Adam,
it's only taking me 50-something episodes to get my internet fixed.
Adam, have you gotten anything in the mail recently?
No, I don't think so. Why? Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, I got about 14 of them. Be quite honest with you, and tax season isn't here yet.
Do we know who the 1099 champ is that has the most 1099s received from pulling?
I have 14, so I'm pretty sure
14.
Somebody out there.
All right. Adam's throwing down the gauntlet. Comment if you can beat 14. We need to see. Do you think it's possible? No, that's just a silly illustration right there.
Yeah, because there's only 8 there.
Yeah. The technology is great when it works, but it is unfortunate that there's been a couple of bad eggs at QuickBooks, and all of the competitors are just receiving multiple 1099s throughout the year. So that's a bummer. But yeah, I want to see, is it possible? Let's see how far the mail system can go. Is it possible to get 20 1099s? Do you think?
The only thing I got to say is I hope nobody from the IRS is watching this, but I hope this is not open eyes to maybe we need to audit these people.
Oh, if somebody gets audited in pulling, we got to bring them on.
Don't blame this podcast for this too.
Yeah, no, we're gonna catch some heat for that one. All right, Chase. Without further ado, bring on our next guest.
So we promised it for some previous shows. One of the few gentlemen out there that's probably certified official in multiple organizations. When you think flagman tech officials, I always think Jerry Nelson. So Mr. Jerry Nelson is happy to join us. We're going to fire away with some flagman questions. Jerry, welcome to the No Practice Podcast. Can you hear us? Can you do a sound check? Are you all good?
I'm good. If you can hear me, I hear you guys just fine.
If I had a red flag, I would say you're not good. If it's a green flag, it's good. So you're green. Jerry, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
People don't know the people that necessarily make these pulls go, but Jerry, and along with a lot of other tech officials, are some of the best in the industry. So Jerry, tell the fans a little bit about yourself. I know you're tied to the Nelson family. When you think Nelson's Illinois, Jerry is related to them. So give everyone an introduction. I know you're humble, but people want to know who you are. And then the really tough questions are going to come after this. So, Jerry, floor is yours. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to get to speak with everyone. I'm from Illinois. I've been working tractor pulls, flagging, teching for now. This will be 41 years for me. So don't know if I know a whole lot, but I have a lot of experience. I've got to be at a lot of big organizations, big pulls, and just enjoy it a lot. Midnight Motorsports team. They're all my nephews. So kind of got into pulling, or into doing what I do through their dad. And then I also that's kind of how I met my wife as well. It's through pulling. So sometime back in the 80s, I got involved in flag and tractor pulls and been doing it ever since.
What was the first group you ever worked with, Jerry, in terms of tech officially? Is it ITPA?
ITPA, yes. I've been a member and a tech official and a flagman for them since 1986.
Geez, does anyone have that kind of seniority beat there?
Well, actually in Illinois, Robert Min does. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
He actually, when I first started, I owe a lot to him and John Moomaw. They kind of worked with me a lot and kind of helped me get to where I am. So, I owe a lot to those guys. They were always a good resource for me.
Do you prefer the finish end or the starting line?
I can't really tell you that I've ever been on a starting line. So I'm definitely a finish guy because I would be lost at the other ends.
So tell us, like, when you're a flag official and you're out there, are your duties from your higher ups different, being a starting line versus a end of track? Like, is your protocols and like your step-by-step process totally different, or is it kind of each guy to his own?
It's fairly similar. There's a lot more, the bigger organizations, I don't want to say teamwork is probably not the right word, but you're not left out kind of on an island by yourself as much. The state organization, you're pretty much the person there, and you have a starting line flagman and you confer with him and the sled operator, and that's about it. But, you PPL series or NTPA, the one, there's a lot more people involved. So when you make certain decisions, you feel like you have a lot more support with that.
That makes sense. When because you tech people obviously also, what is the worst thing you've seen? Like, have you had to tell somebody before, like, you cannot pull this tractor today? There's nothing you can do to resolve it.
We've had that situation, many times, whether it be not having, and most of the time that's not having the proper safety equipment on that pulling vehicle, and it could be possibly something they can't get put on before the pull. So yes, that's unfortunately has happened.
Okay, like a bell housing out of inspection or something like that.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the move from getting away from inspecting clutches and moving towards inspecting the bell housings?
Yeah,
that's a tough one, isn't it, Jerry?
I told Jerry there's no tough questions. We're just going to ask his perspective as a flagman. You're going to write to the neck.
I'm not trying to get you in trouble here, Jerry. Just genuinely, as a guy, it's easy for the competitor being strapped in, but you're the guy that
respect his duty as a professional official, that he needs to stay professional with his partners. And I told him he was not going to have to answer these questions, but I love how we work together.
We can let him respond. Is there no response, or
it's one of those things. I'm good with knowing where that bell housing, when it's been inspected. I'm all right with that move. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So Jerry, whenever, people see flagmen or tech officials at these national events, like, there's people that are probably watching this show that could have some interest in wanting to be a flag or tech official. I know those finding people like Jerry Nelson's not easy to do. As he said, 40 years. Everyone knows when Jerry's there, it's on the up and up. And we respect all tech officials, flagmen, and everything. But, if someone wanted to get into that, how could you start? What would you recommend? Like, what's the path forward to, something like that endeavor? And, like, you get paid to do it. Like, obviously that's not your full-time job, I don't think, Jerry. But, like, what has it done for you? And what's your sales pitch on a future Jerry Nelson out there?
I think, well, first you have to have a true love to be out there, because you're out there a long time and you get to meet a lot of people, which that's the thing that I really love about it. So to be involved with it and do what I do, each organization offers tech schools. you have to go to the tech school. You have to learn what the rules are. Not necessarily, you don't have to memorize them, because there's a lot of things that, I want to look back at a book before I'll make a statement on, but that is the best place to start, being around pulling first, just to kind of know what someone like I do out there. I mean, sometimes I think, it looks pretty easy, but it's pretty interesting when you've got several thousand horsepower bearing straight down at you. So it's a little different. It's a little different feel when you're out there on a track with any pulling vehicle, as far as that goes. Just what their ability is. People don't understand that always.
Yeah.
So when you say a tech school, like what is that a few sessions? Like what can that consist of?
Generally, each organization has a 1-day school. They're, I don't know, roughly 2, 3, 4 hours. Depends on who's putting it on, how many people are involved. It's really not that difficult. They go through the rules, they go through rule changes, and then you are tested on it. I believe on all the organization, SFI puts out the test. So they're very, very similar. You might see the same questions on the PPL test, the NTPA test, and the ITPA test, the ones that, that I've taken. I mean, they're very similar. You have to pass those. And then once you're certified, and you're going to work some pulls before you get to be out on the track, though. They're not, most of the organizations aren't just going to turn you loose out there once you've done this. So, you're going to have to work your way up. You're going to have to work at the pulls. You're going to maybe weigh tractors, maybe line tractors up, those kind of things like that.
What's your least favorite thing? We had a fan question earlier saying if we were, workers like that, what would be your least favorite part? You mentioned some of those other responsibilities, working your way to the track. Obviously, I would assume finish line flagman's got to be the best part, right?
That's the best part. With, hands down, I stick with that. I mean, I can't go watch a tractor pull now. It's very difficult because I feel like I have the best seat in the house. So that's to me, other people may not think so, but to me, that's the elite spot to be there. And probably my least favorite, that's kind of a tough one to say. I'm not much of a lineup guy or something like that, because I'll get too busy talking to pullers about what's going on and not get them lined up. So probably that.
Yeah.
I gotcha. So I have a question for you. You obviously worked the Farley, Iowa pull this year that Simon's put on, and you primarily worked at the end of the track at the scale, checking hitches and weight as the pullers came off the track.
Correct.
Do you feel that as organizations, we need to move towards weighing before and after you run, and checking after you run?
I think it's a great idea. It presents a lot of challenges, but I just think it's a really good idea, because then you know exactly what that vehicle is when they come off the track. You don't have any second guessing about it. And it worked out there because, my recommendation, was they drive off the track and come over, and get on the scales. That way there's no question about, did anything get changed on the tractor before it got to me? And I think especially in those big events, where obviously the amount of money you're paid to win a pull is not even comparable to what it costs to participate, but it's a prestigious thing. So I think it's a good idea, especially the bigger events.
So I was always curious, like when the mini rods were running, we're always pushing that 2050 to get every last pound we can get onto them. And, I've redone my fuel system, and I don't use as much fuel as I used to. Was it kind of surprising to maybe see some variations in weight when vehicles come off the track? Was it surprising to you?
Very surprising. It's really a neat question, because the thing that I commented the most about after each session was all of the bigger vehicles, the heavier vehicles, whether it be the Pro Stocks or the two-wheelers or the diesel trucks, they seem to be under their weight by maybe 100 pounds, 80 to 100 pounds. And I'm assuming that's fuel. Maybe they didn't push the issue. But in the mini rod class, most all of them were 2030 to 2050. So you know that those folks were pushing that weight starting. They had to obviously weigh more than 2050 to be 2050 when they got to me. But
Yeah.
I witnessed it.
Was it a Chevrolet Taylor or something that said no mercy on it?
I'll tell you what, it's funny that you say this, and the only reason I'm going to say this is because I was first took on Saturday or Friday night in the blue tractor, and I come down the end of the track, I drive off, I go into the scale, and I look over, and he's standing there, and I'm going, now I'm 2050 on the other scale. But I think what I was getting at is like, my tractor only uses about 3.5 to 4 gallons of fuel anymore. I've really figured out a way on the fuel system to not dilute my oil and not overuse fuel. So 3.5 gallons, when you really pull it out of there, that's not but about 16 to 20-ish pounds of fuel that came off the tractor.
Yeah, should be around 20 to 25 pounds, 3 gallons, 3.5 gallons.
Oh, he's telling you what it should be, Adam. I think
it should be, yeah.
Yeah.
I personally watch people at Farley, and they had their tractor on the scale, and it weighs 2050. They add a small weight, 2060. They add another weight, 2075, and they're like, all right, that's good. And me being the smart ass I am, I'm like, well, what do you think you're doing? And they're like, hey, the rule said it's got to weigh 2050 at the end of the track. She'll burn 25 gallons of fuel. And I'm like, oh, man, like what was your instruction there, Jerry? If somebody came in at 2055, would they have been back to the trailer?
Yes.
They would have been.
No variance.
Ooh, I like that.
It was that was one thing that I felt a lot of pressure on, because they did leave that call to me and asked me what the variance was going to be. And I'm like, hey, they got a chance to weigh before. Let's just not have a variance. And they're like, okay, you made the call, then you can be the one to tell them that if they don't wait, they're out. So
they told you that. You're like, now, guys, maybe a 5-pound variance. Come on now.
Yeah, I wasn't really worried about the weight. More that gets me is we run fairly low air pressure in our tires. And, if you're going down the track and your tires are building heat and they grow air pressure in them, it's going to change that hitch.
Yeah.
And that's where I was more or less kind of like, man, it's going to be quite interesting to see the variance in the hitch.
One of the things with the hitches that shocked me was, I believe on almost every vehicle that pulled up there, and that was a lot of vehicles, I think I could have stuck my finger between the hitch measure and the hitch.
Really?
On all of them?
Yes. On all of them.
Even me, Jerry?
Yes.
What? I'll tell you what, maybe it makes sense that the tires get warm. The tires get warm, and maybe they get a little bit more pliable, and then they kind of sink down after they're in. I mean, I guess there's that too.
That's kind of what I thought. Maybe the heat in the tires from, being out there and turning so hard, maybe they were a little more pliable and they settled down a little bit more. I don't know, but I didn't have anything even questionable on hitches at all.
Was it the same hitch checking device that was used in the beginning, or was it a different one?
Now, I would tend to think the one on the other end of the track.
Oh, God, don't go here.
Yeah, I think perhaps they built a variance into that hitch checking device, similar to your 5-pound cushion. And they said, we don't want to throw anyone out there on hitches. So they built one that was like maybe an eighth or a quarter of an inch taller, because, man, I'm here to tell you, I don't know that you could have slid a dollar bill in between my hitch and the hitch checker before. But I'm the only idiot that runs my hitch all the way up. Everybody else is like an inch low.
You could have ran a higher hitch, and you could.
Yeah. I still think that it has something to do with after the run, that, whether they're just sucked down from, pulling so hard, because even pro stock tractors and those guys, I don't know if they ever run their drawbar any less than 20 inches, and they were the same way.
That's crazy.
And I obviously was not using the same hitch checker for your tractors versus their tractors. So that was my thought. I just kind of going to stick with that.
That is interesting. How did you guys measure the hitch of the truck that pulled the hitch out and left it on the track, Jerry? A lot of people have wondered that.
We did not, but the only thing we could do was weigh it. I had to bring it over because at least we can make weight. And yes, you're correct. There were a lot of people that were speculating or mentioning that maybe that hitch was illegal, and I'm like, you have no way of knowing that. I mean, you want to presume that it was legal when it went out on the track, because if it wasn't, when he got to me and it wouldn't have broke, he would have been out. So
yeah, they made the finals too, right?
Yes, even with that, and that's where some guys were speculating, and I think that caused a little bit of friction for the guy that was the first one out. So they actually did let him run.
Just because did they?
Yes.
Okay. That RJ guy, he's pretty nice. Not
Jerry,
bad.
Switching the conversation to something totally different. What's your opinion on instant replay and pulling in terms of a disqualification? I know Adam last summer was very adamant about pro stock that ran out of bounds that was not called out of bounds. And I think they may have even changed the rule this year with NTPA.
NTPA has changed their rule.
You can change it up to a certain time amount after the event to change it. So what's your opinion on that?
I don't really think instant replay is, on something like that is all bad. I mean, it's going to put somebody like me under the gun a little bit more, but I feel like it's there anyway because everything is filmed. I mean, there's just, I see all kinds of different clips of, hey, you got that one right, or this was where they were at. I mean, because it's tough. It's a lot. I think it's something people don't realize. It's a lot tougher to make that call, and I make a lot of them, unfortunately. But I have competitors that say I enjoy making that call, which that's fine. But it's a lot tougher, when you've got the speed that you're all coming down the track, and as hard as you're turning the tires, and the way the chalk or flour or whatever the line is. It's a lot harder to make than you think. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad way to go. I mean, they do it in other professional sports.
But Jerry, I wanted to make sure that because I always say this when people fire back. I mean, look, we all have opinions. There's no right or wrong way. I just think everyone should look at things through both sides. The different, like pulling is not the NFL, and it we all know that. But the NFL has sidelines with dirt that is there with lines that are there. These lines in tractor pulling are chalk, and you're on dirt. The same with baseball. So when I say that, debris and all this shit going on all night, it's hard to tell if something hits that line because a peck of chalk gets thrown out. I'm just saying hypothetically, but it's not like an absolute line that you're looking at like at an NFL game. So it is the same, but it's very different because of the conditions. And I was curious to hear your feedback on that. And is IHRA, PPL, are they doing instant replays now? The same effect, or is that just an NTPA rule?
Just at this point, it's just NTPA.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And the way the rule is, as I understand it, is the lead official has a right to overturn it within so many hours after the event ends. Is that right?
Right. And there is, some people that are going to confer on that, like the competition director and maybe someone else, as well as the finish line flagman is going to be, a part of that decision. And I don't think the first time it happens, that's going to be podcast content, guys. Well, and I think part of it come up is, and I don't want to pick on anybody, but I know they had some issues last year, a couple of different events where people felt like someone was out and didn't get called out. And that's, not what you want to see. I mean, you don't want to really throw anybody out, but yeah, I always feel like making that call. If there's 20 of you in a class, the only person I make mad is the one that actually hit the line. The other 19 they're pretty okay with it. Because it's just the way the rule is. And I always try to make a position to where I can be in line to make that call without having any replay. But, years ago with PPL and MAV TV and all that, I always had guys there that would make the comment, in the back in the TV truck, because I got your back, I'll let you know right away if you're in doubt before you make it. And,
wait a minute. That's a big reveal, Jerry. Are you saying behind the scenes you've been using instant replay with another set of eyes for years?
If you ever watch me, I'll make that call as soon as it happens.
Okay.
I'll make that. There's been a time or two where I'll question geez, was I on with that or what? And and that's when I'll ask that question: is, hey, did I get that right? And I feel like I put myself in a way a lot of times that's probably not where anybody else would be to make those calls because I want to get it right.
This is my opinion only on this, but like the Outlaws have actually, I think, been doing instant replay before anyone did it. Actually, I know that.
Jerry beat him to it.
This is big news, I think, for a lot of events. But at the same time, as long as everyone knows what the criteria is and what is at stake, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to like if I run out of bounds and I get under review, but as long as it's pretty transparent, that's how the game's played, it is what it is. So,
Jerry, in all your years of doing this, people make mistakes. Have you ever had to walk up to someone at an event later down the road and say, I think I kind of screwed that one up. You might have been in?
I can say that I don't think I've ever made that on an out-of-bounds call.
Okay. That's got to be a good feeling.
I don't think I have. I know I've never went to someone and made a comment because I don't really, I just don't feel like I've missed any. And like
that's
I said,
why Jerry's the man.
I really work hard at trying to be in the right location to make that call. And I think there's a lot of folks from PPL that will attest to that. Should you really been where you were at? Well, probably not, but I was
got the line of sight,
and you want to be, and a lot of it, if you watch where I'm at, it's I try to be on the line that you're closest to. That way you'll know, and I'm going to make the call pretty fast. Just so that I think part of that is just having the confidence to do it. And if you make it fast and you're confident in the call, people don't question it as much.
That is true.
Obviously some people will, but as far as going back and telling someone I've screwed up, I have done that before where I've taken somebody's first run away from them and changed the sled and shouldn't have done it. And actually there are probably several people that can comment on that, but I have went and told them later.
As the end of the track flagman, that's out of your hands most time though, right? At a national event.
I do have a lot of input with that call.
That's actually a great topic. So like the sled reset, there's someone that makes the decision, and there went Jerry.
He's back.
Jerry, can you still hear us?
Yes.
So like whenever there's a run and the decision's being made on resetting the sled, they will ask the end of track, like, what's your thoughts on that?
Sure. Yes. Like especially at like our PPL events, it comes, John and I talking about it, a lot of what, where we think we are. He can see what's happening at the beginning where I don't know what the starting line's like. And then obviously he doesn't know what it's finishing like on my end. And then, we'll confer with the sled operator of what he's feeling because, they've got a pretty good feel of what is going on. And we make it from there. And then it kind of comes down to sometimes, maybe John will say, yeah, let's just change it. And other times he'll say, I'll just leave it up to you. What do you want to do? So he's been very, very respectful of me for that.
Well, when you've got that many years of experience, it's hard to ignore. I would imagine you deal with quite a bit of puller banter, when they make a pass, first hook, they go 342. It's a nice looking pass, but then they get out of the tractor and they're like, that was the best pass I've been on in 10 years. That was a brand new motor, turned up the boost, leaned it down. Don't take that from me. That tractor's never made a pass like that. How often do you get that?
Yeah, quite a bit. You're absolutely right. It's the best pass I've ever made. And okay, well, I'm, and sometimes it's, I'm glad you made that pass, but you're going to get to try again. So
yeah, I feel like not to get political, but anytime you want to see a tractor puller do a Trump impression, it's when they were first hook and they just blew it out the end and they go talk to the finish line flagman and they're like, it was the best pass. It was a great pass. It'll never be beaten. Nobody will top that.
Yeah,
it's hilarious every time. And then you see the flag guy kind of look at the ground and shake his head. And then you hear the announcement. You see helmets getting thrown into seats and everything. And then they reset the sled and the next guy, still goes like 335. And you're like, yeah, that guy would have been 360 if we didn't reset that.
Yep. There are those. And what's an interesting, I think, and I'm going to throw you out there just a little bit, or maybe not you, but your dad on that. I've had that conversation before, which was interesting because Bruce thought the pass was awesome and that couldn't be touched. And you're like, yeah, I don't really think it's that way. Just let him make the call. So,
now Bruce is going to be watching this and be like, that little bastard.
So, yeah.
Nobody's safe this show, Tyler.
Dad, Jerry's full of lies, Dad. I don't know if we can believe him at all. But no, I would say that probably happened. And in all honesty, I would say the results spoke for themselves. When a sled gets reset.
I think we actually changed it, and you come back and won anyway. So,
well, there you go. It was
probably right at the beginning, but and he wasn't disrespectful. I just, he just gave me his 2 cents. I just thought it was interesting. I just had to throw that out there. He wanted to leave it, and you wanted to just let me make the call. So,
yeah. Well, I always feel for you guys because I feel like there's always people. When you just observe, and sit back, and there's always people trying to convince you of one thing or another thing, and it's just like, oh man, like that already doesn't sound like a fun decision to make. And then you got somebody just 4 inches away, nose to nose, just, oh well, you can't take that from me.
Yeah.
At least Jerry will tell you your face and not put it on Facebook, right? Jerry, are you one of the only guys that that is a tech official in both major organizations?
Pretty much, I think.
There's not that many people, right?
Right.
What can you say is different between one another? Look, as much as some people want to make this side versus this side, I don't care about that on this podcast. Like, generally, what's different from a PPL versus an NTPA, or I guess now called outlaw, infrastructure of being a flagman, if, from your standpoint? But like as little as detail as like we got to tuck our shirts in over there. Like, is there much difference, or like is it generally the same?
And I not really. I mean, it's very similar. I feel like there's a little bit more. I'm not gonna lie about that. There's more freedom on the PPL side as far as my input and things that I can put out there. So, but it's still pulling, and you're just trying to uphold the rules and make it fair for everyone and make sure that it's safe. I mean, that's part of the big process out there, is to make sure you guys are able to compete fairly and be safe doing it and keep everyone safe as we can. So
like or dislike it, you guys are there to serve a purpose, and ultimately your intentions are always in the best interest of the competitors and the show, even though we may not see it that way. So,
sure. And sometimes, I've done it, sometimes I come across the wrong way to someone, and it's maybe just a bad timing, and you try not to have those moments, but, we all do. I mean, I try to keep them limited as much as possible. And sometimes, you'll go back and tell someone, hey, I didn't mean to talk to you that way. It was just kind of a bad time.
It's competition. Like, I have a background in basketball, coaching Division I, and like for 10 years of Division I basketball games, there was not, I can count on my one hand where one of the head coaches on either side wasn't mother effing the officials. But at the end of the day, like, it's just competitive environment. When you get competitive people around and passionate people, that just comes with it. And that's why pulling is beautiful, because everyone can, turn the page and on to the next day, and hopefully not too many grudges live.
Yeah, and I agree. And there's been many times where, you've made someone, or I've made someone mad because of, maybe I called them out of bounds and they barely touched the line. I don't know, something like that. Or maybe we changed the sled on them, but generally they'll come back around, and, they still have a respect level for me, or at least I hope they do, as I do for them. I mean, I get it. You put a lot of time and energy into tractor pulling, and you want to do the best you can. And so that competitive level is going to be there. And that's what makes it fun. I mean, I've been a flagman for all these years, and I have a lot of fun out there. So
Well said. Well said, Jerry. And
So-
also, my final parting words here. I'm going to raise my drawbar a fingertip higher than it should be because Jerry Nelson said we could. But you won't be in Florida, so if you get a call, just a heads up. Sorry, Adam.
Thanks.
No, I was just gonna say, when you're going down the track and you make a good run and you're at the end of the track and you make a good run and you'll come over and you give us a little fist bump. You made a good pass and you've done good. Has there ever been a point in time where you were giving somebody the red flag and they weren't paying attention, or you were seeing that the run wasn't going good and all you could think is, like, I could smack you on the helmet right now. What were you thinking? Has there ever been a point in time where you wanted to do that to a driver?
Maybe a time or two. Yes. There's yes. Let's just do that.
That's fair. Jerry, we've got a picture of a bit of a close call, like you had said earlier, when you're trying to get that correct line of sight and you're pretty close to a vehicle. If Backstage can throw that up here.
Yeah,
tell us what's going on here.
That was really an impressive time, right? That just happened last season as well in Mound City, Missouri, and they had some fuel and oil problems the day before, and I told them to clean it up for the second day, and it was still coming out. And when I went towards the tractor before he could see me, that happened, and I that was a little closer than I wanted, I'll tell you.
Holy cow, that's scary.
Singe a couple of eyebrows, perhaps.
Great photos, great photography there. Thanks for sending it in.
Yeah, it was. And actually, Ryan come over and checked on me afterwards. He goes, I got to see if you've got any eyelashes left after that or eyebrows left after that, because it was quite a fire. So that was caught me off guard. Did you DQ him? I did.
I would too if I almost caught on fire.
I did, and it was mostly because the oil and fuel was coming from the starting line, and that was probably at 150 feet or so. I think I was coming at him because I don't think he could either wasn't paying attention to where I was at, and I couldn't really be much more in front of him without getting ran over. So
sure,
that put me a lot closer to the fire.
What are your thoughts on the John Link Bowling Green disqualification saga? Are you familiar with that, or?
Not really, no.
So Tyler, it was a disqualification.
This guy works for everyone.
Yeah.
I told him we weren't going to have no tough questions.
Oh, okay. Basically, Jerry, the water from the Pro Stock intercooler, I feel like quite a few people have what by definition would be excessive fluids on the track. And
absolutely, yes.
Right, like by the way it's written, like you said, you got to check the book. So like if we're putting opinions and all that aside and hurting people's feelings, I feel like, I don't know, at least over half of them leave quote unquote excessive fluid on the track. Do you feel like that rule needs to be manipulated a bit, or is it just up to discretion?
I actually thought about that a lot today because I thought, that question might come up.
Yeah.
Because that's something I fight with all the time. You're watching people come down the track and you're thinking, okay, there's enough there, probably ought to stop them. And there's times where I have, and so and then there's times where I just give them a warning and say, hey, I don't want to see this next time, or I am going to red flag you and at least stop you. And I may not DQ you, but I'm going to terminate the pull. But it gets more and more, and I think sometimes we're going in the wrong way with it. How we manipulate it, I don't really know. I mean, that's a good, outside of sealing the intercoolers up where they don't spill the water, because it gets bad. And I know it was a big topic at the farm show this year where, there was going to be multiple people watching, and if it got very bad, they were going to stop them. So
multiple
it's something that, is being looked at really hard because it's just getting to be more and more. And I think it's something that really needs to be addressed. And I don't know how you really look. I don't think it is as much of an effect on pulling as what it used to. And I say that, and people are probably going to think I don't know what I'm talking about. The sleds are so aggressive underneath anymore that I just don't feel like, it gets the help as much as what it used to. I think years past when the bars under the sleds were a lot more minimal, it allowed it to slide a lot better than what it does now.
Yeah, so for what Jerry's referencing there is there's rumors that a couple sneaky rascals back in the day would intentionally set their tractors up to deposit the fluid onto the track to kind of grease that dirt up that would be specifically in between the tires, help that sled slide a little bit easier on the finish end, maybe get yourself an extra foot or two. Do you think people are still doing that, or is it more just an accident these days?
I think a lot of it's more of an accident these days.
Yeah.
I've not caught anybody that you think really is they're doing that on purpose. Now
Yeah.
maybe they're accidentally doing it on purpose, but I don't think it's as bad as what it used to be for sure.
I would agree with that. As intense as these machines are, I mean, the people that have actually looked and seen the grouser bars, as they call them, on the pan of the sled, putting a little bit of water on that dirt, I don't think it's going to make 1/100th of an inch worth of difference, to be perfectly honest.
And when they get down to that end of the track, I mean, I've seen them before where they've, you see a lot of oil coming out of a blow-by tube, maybe before something comes apart. And if it's towards the end of the track, towards the end of the run, you look right behind the sled, and not very often can you even find where that is because the bars just tear it up so much anymore from what it used to be. I'm not saying that people should be dumping stuff on the track, but
no,
it is but I agree. It's a very hard question. And I don't, because by the rule, we'd be throwing pretty much all the pro stock tractors out every pull.
Right. Yeah. That's why, I mean, man, am I glad I don't have to answer that question. I just get to come up with them. So, all righty, here we've got a little segment.
I have another question that before we get into the rapid fire. Does this podcast, No Practice Podcast, influence rules? Yes or no? You don't have to get into it.
Does it influence rules?
Just yes or no. No questions asked. Yes or no.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Yeah. Good answer, Jerry.
Good answer.
All right. This is a rapid fire segment, Jerry, where a lot of these are kind of stupid, so we just blitz right through them. No explanation needed or anything. So some of them aren't even pulling related. I don't really know what's going on in this segment. What was the least favorite job you've ever had?
In pulling?
Nope, just in your entire life.
Good God, I don't know that I've had a least favorite job.
You loved
so
every
positive,
one of them?
everything's great.
I mean,
Jeez.
most things are good. Probably being a nursing home administrator was probably my least favorite job.
Okay, see there, we learned.
Everybody
learned
didn't
something
like you
about
there, so.
Yeah. All right, Jerry, this next one's tough. Is a hot dog technically a sandwich?
Sure.
Yeah. Name one puller that you are confident you could throw a football further than.
I'm going to have to go with my brother, Dale.
Okay, that's a solid answer. Best vacation you've ever taken in your life?
Probably to Germany to see my daughter.
Oh, very nice. What is the most involved / advanced mechanical thing you've ever personally done to a vehicle?
Putting a auto steering valve on a 4-wheel drive tractor, which I didn't really know what I was doing, but I accomplished it and it works.
Well done. I mean, nobody really knows what they're doing on stuff. I'm a pretty firm believer of that. What is one thing you actually know quite a bit about that very few people would know?
I have no idea.
No, you don't.
Instant
Have
replay. Instant replay.
Yeah.
Instant replay. There you go.
Not like
Chase
an expert bird watcher or something.
No, that's a.
You're not like super into puzzles or anything, or
No.
like.
No, I can't
Okay.
think of anything that I would know more than anyone, or even think that I do. No, I'm not. I can't give you any answer on that one. Sorry.
All right, fair enough. Would you rather be able to speak every language on Earth or be able to talk to animals?
Probably be able to talk to animals.
Oh, yeah, guaranteed. My next one was video review and polling, good or bad. I feel like overall you said it is.
Good.
I would agree. Name a strange food combination most people hate that you like.
Where do you come up with this shit, Tyler?
Hey, she told me there were no hard questions here.
No, I said no. There's a segment Tyler does. I can't help you with there.
I think you did
that's
mention
exactly
that.
what I said.
There's only 4 more, Jerry. They get easier. The last ones are usually really easy.
Food. Run that question by me again.
Name a strange food combination most people hate that you like.
Okay, we'll go with fried cornmeal with syrup on it.
Oh, sounds pretty good. Excellent answer. All right, Jerry, you're no stranger to this. In PPL, you get to choose your stage walk-up song. If you win a championship at the banquet every year, what would your song be if you got to choose?
I have no idea.
Nah, you just pick a song, Jerry. There's no wrong answers.
Good gosh, I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
All right, you can skip if you want.
yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we'll just hit the skip button.
Okay. If you had to pick one puller to back you up in a fist fight in Wheatland, Missouri bar, who would you pick?
Gosh, probably Bruce Law.
Oh, that's a good answer. Good answer. All right. And last but not least, who would win in an arm wrestling contest? Larry versus Marvin. What do you think?
Oh, I'm gonna go. Gosh, I'm gonna go with Marvin.
Yeah, he's pretty scrappy. I can see that for
He
sure.
just
That's
looks like one of them little scrappy guys.
yeah. We needed Larry in his prime for sure. All right, Jerry, that's the rapid fire segment. You did pretty good there.
Jerry,
Yeah.
well
Yes.
done. I really apologize for how Tyler and Adam act on this podcast. I don't know if you turned in earlier today, but we're always in a struggle, but we always work through it. So, Jerry, any final remarks or shout outs you want to say on behalf of all flag and tag officials? Because without you all, without promoters, without organizations, there is no pulling for us 3 idiots and competitors that like to do this.
Well, the people, the flagmen and the tech officials that are out there, and some of the folks that are listening, they do put a lot of time and a lot of effort into it, and they do care about the sport a lot more than what I think we all realize. Keeping it fair, keeping it safe. If they didn't, they wouldn't be there. You kind of have to keep that in mind, because it's not about what we do. It's about what you guys do. We just want to make it the best we can for you. And and it's enjoyable for us to be a part of it. I know I speak for myself a lot there. I mean, I've done it this long, and I feel like I'm really a part of the organizations, and I get to meet the pullers, and I get to meet pullers in every class. Got a lot of friendships there, and those people mean a lot to me. So
that's very well said and very genuine, Jerry. Jerry, if someone wants to be a NTPA tech official, not trying to advertise for everybody, but like tech officials, we need tech officials. What do they need to do? Who do they need to reach out to for NTPA, and then also for PPL? And Outlaw is kind of NTPA now. So what's your who to get in touch with?
If you were looking for either organization, you would need to get in contact probably with Marvin on the NTPA side. And I think even if you go on to like one of the NTPA websites, I know there's information on those schools that they have. I think there's 2 left that are scheduled so far. PPL, you talk to Larry Richwine, and he's the one that usually does the schooling now. I mean, you can talk to John as well, but I think Larry puts on most of the schools for him.
Sure.
Cool. And then we hopefully there's some feedback of a few people interested in maybe doing what you do and being a big part of a special sport. So, Jerry, thank you for taking the time to come on this podcast. And answer a few tough questions and give your point of view. Tyler and Adam, anything with Jerry before we sign him off?
No, just thanks for all your years of what you've done, and people like you, and for finding something that you love spending your available free time to do. Really, no different than what we do. So, it takes a group to make the show happen. That's for sure.
Community.
Right. Does once again, thanks a lot for letting me come on and talk with you guys. I appreciate it a lot.
Jerry, you're the man.
Thanks, Jerry.
We'll see you down the road soon.
Yep. See you. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
Very cool segment. Shout out to Adam Kessler for that idea. Adam has all the good ideas. He just doesn't take credit for it.
No, yeah, I like talking. That's pretty cool. I have a lot of respect for him. Obviously now that he's not on the screen, but yeah, I got a lot of respect for him and all the tech officials and flagmen. Honestly, I mean, to travel the amount of hours that they do it's a thankless job, really.
Like when does everyone ever go up to a tech official and say, "Man, you did a hell of a job tonight"? Like I never have in my career. Right. But if they make a call that someone doesn't like, they're like, "You low life Pete." Like, yeah. I mean, it's just a very thankless job, as Adam says. And shout out to those guys. And if there's ever a tech official that wants to come on and give some feedback or candid comments to follow up on Jerry, you're always welcome here. Just don't talk it to us at the track because we don't like you there.
No. Chase, what are you doing?
Yeah, sorry.
See, Chase, that's why you didn't get an invite. That little deal right there. That'll get you in trouble.
Which invite?
Oh, various,
I think it's more of a ghost, not an invite.
Gotta be kind and polite to people.
This isn't the night for it, but we'll get into it one day. Okay. I can't wait for y'all to get them on the show. That would be a really great moment for the sport of pulling.
All right, guys, we're an hour and 46 minutes in. We still have one more guest here. Adam, you want to take it away?
What do we have? It's all news to me. I don't have the comments below. I'm sorry.
Oh, Adam's on his phone.
In case you slept
I'm using my phone. I don't have any. I'm not seeing the messages underneath. I apologize, guys.
In case you slept under a rock last weekend, we've had some colorful conversations about how tough tractor pulling is to step in and be good. We have one of our fellow countermates, Peter Norton, recent mini rod driver, who just went and just popped these drag racing guys. Like the drag racing dudes, they use all these like big, like tough, like, oh, I popped them, I smacked them, but like we just say you kicked their ass. So Peter, congratulations on your successes in the Pro Mod division. It's been a ton of fun to watch a tractor puller, and I know I don't want to label you as a tractor puller because you're just a competitive gearhead like all of us, but it's been pretty cool to see your success, and thanks for joining us on the podcast.
You bet. I'm moving over here because I think my it was breaking up or something. Can you guys hear me?
No, we're all good.
Yes, sir.
We can hear you good. You're good. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So, Peter, all right, we're going to dive right into it. And I wasn't aware you were on another pulling podcast last night. Look, we support all podcasts. We support everything pulling. But when a guy that's a puller that goes and dominates pro mod racing, I think he's in high demand. So we're not trying to take anyone's thunder. And I'm sorry I didn't know you were on another podcast last night. But, Peter, how the hell did you get in pro mod racing?
Well, I think like the last time I was on your show was probably about this time last year maybe. And, I had some friends that just did like no prep, just kind of street racing stuff around here. But I just always thought if I was going to do something faster, just kind of paying attention what the Sheltons did a little bit, I thought I'd want to do pro mod. So we went to the World Series of Pro Mod at Bradenton just to watch last February of 25. Just it was my birthday, and that's what I wanted to do. Hadn't been to a big drag race ever in my life, so we went and watched that. And throughout last year, kind of worked on a couple things. I bought a car that has screw blower on it and got my license with that. And then the car we ran for the Winter Series was kind of a last-minute deal. We'd bought it, put it together in about a 3-week period, and I literally sat in it for the first time at Bradenton for snowbirds. Had Mark with DSP come poured my seat, and we jumped right into testing. So it was kind of a whirlwind.
Now, you said you had a screw blower on one of them. You've since gotten rid of that thing?
Yeah, the screw blower car, my friend Nick Taylor ran it at Snowbirds, and I sold it to a guy in Brazil. So
you sold the whole car?
Whole car, yeah. Sold the whole
I got
car.
you.
So I bought another car. So we're on my setup now is a Proline Hemi with a Harts charger on it. So it's kind of the direction I wanted to go to begin with, and just got to it a little faster than I had anticipated.
Peter, what
So
do you think?
get
Take
right down
that
to it.
motor and put,
Oh, give me an interruption. I can't stand it. I got to ask this guy this question. Which would you rather drive, a mini rod or a pro mod? And you can't. You're biased now because you're kicking ass in pro mod. But if you had one day to live, what are you driving?
Pro mod.
Oh God, get him off there.
Well, I'm hot on it right now. So if you drove a Pro mod, you might understand. Now, I've had a lot of people ask, as I was down there, we had a million people ask about tractor pulling and my reference with tractor pulling. And I did say the closest thing tractor pulling wise to driving a Pro mod is definitely a mini. And I think that what little experience I have on a mini rod did help me probably from, any kind of crappy passes I had in the Pro mod as far as it get loose and anything like that.
sure. So with this Harts charger, Hemi in this thing, you probably got a guy helping you with your engine program, obviously. Have you shown him the mini rod and you're like, hey, what do we need to do to get this thing to run mechanical fuel injection in one of these chassis on the dirt?
He's probably like, where's the drive shaft curve going to go? Yeah, I don't know. It's like Ricky Jones is my tuner. That him and his dad used to own RJ race cars in Illinois. Had sold the business to a guy last year. Anyways, he's been a big help to me. And so he's obviously seen the mini rods in the shop and all that stuff. And so people are definitely interested and like to ask a lot of questions when they come to the shop. You guys had, I think, said something to me last time we talked about getting some of these other people, the kind of characters of YouTube, what do you want to call them, to get on to try and, get interested in the sport, and have them maybe run one of our tractors at a pull or something like that. So I've passed that along.
I think
I'm making some pretty good traction actually. So I'm gonna need some help when we get to doing this. But I think I've got some definite interest on getting a few of these guys to jump on.
All right. Awesome. Well, let me know when that's going to happen. I'll talk to Farmer Bruce and see if my seat can be open. If you've got a long, lanky guy, with my brakes on the outside, I can accommodate a taller person.
There you go.
No problem there.
We had Kai Kelly is a pretty good friend of mine. He brought the Jangling car over here before PRI. We cleaned it up for him, and he was here and sat in one of my minis. And it's like, I think I could do this. So I think he's pretty committed to probably driving one this summer at one point in time.
Hell yeah.
And then I was on that podcast last night. Wes Buck was on there, and kind of the same thing that I think, like people can like look at the minis like that thing. I may be able to handle that. It's not quite as intimidating as a big tractor just from the size. Now, I always tell people from actually driving the thing's probably more intimidating than anything, especially a tractor. So
fortunately I became decent friends with Stevie Fast, and he's the biggest shit talker in drag racing from what I understand. And he was on our podcast. What was it? Probably almost 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, guys. I don't remember. But we all of us gave us up our ride. Like, hey, Stevie, hop in, drive. And he came to Chapel Hill and hung out with us last year. Again, he's a friend. And I was like, man, just jump in and drive. And then I've offered the seat to him. He's like, hey, is there anywhere I can go practice for a couple weekends and do that? I'm like, oh, you little B-word. Like, no, they ain't doing that. So I hope that gets back to him too. I'd love to see him hop in. Basically, the equivalent to what? How much do you think he is practice running a pro mod versus you just jumping in? Like, hey, Peter Norton just jumped in, kicked your ass. Maybe you can drive a mini rod.
Yeah, he talks about that. When they talk about adding these weights to class, adding weight to certain combinations. He's like, I got tens of thousands of passes on the dyno or whatever they do, and I'm sure. I think somebody said they had however many hundreds of passes in between the two races, working on their combination. Yeah. It's just, of course, that's their full-time job. And I don't know. I think, whether I just picked it up quick, I guess. And there's a lot of pressure down there. There's a lot of people there. And you roll up to the water box and you got people beside you everywhere. And you're like, oh man, this is crazy. And then like my first round of this last race, I lined up next to Lyle Barnett. It's like these people that like just would like just to be able to meet someday, shake their hand, talk to them, whatever. And you're lined up next to them. It's the pressure it's real. I feel like my heart's beating through my ears. And you just got to be able enough to calm it down to get off the button quick.
What's it like compared to pulling in a Saturday night at Freedom Hall against Kevin Masterson versus Lyle Barnett?
It's similar. The rush is still good. I mean, I can't, you ask about driving the two. It just the speed of the car obviously is different, but the actual rush of, taking off and picking the front end up on a tractor, a mini rod, whatever is similar to the Pro Mod for sure. Just the G-force pulling is a lot. And then when you're pulling the chutes, the G-force unloading, kind of the same deal. It's a lot as well.
What hits harder, taking off or pulling the chutes?
Probably taking off. I had some bigger chutes on my car before this race, and they like really pulled down, and so they almost got it out of control. And so now I've gotten some smaller chutes on there, and it's not quite as bad.
Very nice. So you run
talk like everything stops. So Peter asked me what I thought about EFI and stuff. I think it would be. I'd like to see what it's all about. Honestly, I don't know too much about it. To be honest with you, mechanical is the only way I know. So I don't know if it would be good or bad for me. I may be just a retard when it comes to trying to get the engine to run.
You can only say that word when referencing timing, Adam. So I'm sure you were referencing a timing table
exactly.
that's electronically controlled.
Yes,
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't, and I don't know, would that allow other power adders? I think that's where I think it would be a benefit. So, like just in the minis world, if you said, hey, we're going to try and run turbos or a centrifugal charger or something, if you're going to try and bring some other power adders into the game, I think that's where the EFI could make a difference or allow for other, some options, I guess you might say.
Yeah, I got a couple turbo manifolds sitting on the shelf that I've thought a lot about. Man, it'd be neat to try turbos on a mini rod, just because, not that I've done so much, but I have 3 tractors. Like, I would like to make one of them just like a off the wall deal. I'd probably end up losing myself in it, but they're all set up for EFI, and it would be really hard to convert them over. I mean, it's easily done, I guess, in some retrospect, but I would like to try it at some point in time. I think it would be good. Maybe that's part of that unlimited mini rod class that we need to be having.
Peter, I think this is the worst ideas in the history of ideas. I got a lot of respect for you. I like you, but look, we just sent one of our own guys. You did this. It's your resources. It's your infrastructure. We sent one of our own guys who's been following our rules and doing how we do shit into their ecosystem and dominated them. So I think we need to just stay better. So, but I respect the thought, but I think we need to just stay how we are because, hey, like those guys, I think are scared of you now, Peter. I'm just being blunt.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think I definitely have gotten some heads to turn, and I don't know. It's all surreal. Like, I don't think I've really grasped what's happened. It's just, I mean, I don't know. We had a lot of between the two U.S. Street and this race, we've done some chassis work added some bars here and there just to kind of strengthen some stuff up, really just make the car go straighter, I should say. And so we were struggling a little bit early trying to get, like I'd come off the trailer at U.S. Street, we're on a 57.7. We come off the trailer here, went like a 64. So I was like, oh boy, we're out, but the weather was different. And so we had some battles for sure. And I mean, I think I had my hards charger had come apart in Q1. And so we had a little bit of problem there. I'm not sure if something got into it or what happened, but anyways, between Q1 and Q2, we had to pull all the sleeves out. So 8 sleeves, 8 pistons, rods, heads, clean all the manifold. We had it down to just block and crank basically between those 2 rounds. And that was a pretty trying time, I should say. So some of that stuff is, hard to deal with, but I think that's what separates being able to, go rounds with these guys is if you can keep your crew and your parts and everything together where your tune up is in tip-top shape at a race like that.
It's not quite the voodoo magic people make it out to be, as far as like, oh, well, if you have EFI, traction control's a thing, the driving aspects out of it, you just hold it wide open and the program takes you from there. I mean, people want to act like that's how it would be, but that's not really true, is it?
No. I mean, there's definitely a lot of driving to it. I mean, that they move around a lot. They really do. And this, if you get out of the groove just a tick, I mean, if you watch rounds of that race, there's drivers all over the place. There's drivers on the wall. There's drivers here, drivers here. You just got to keep it straight for sure. I mean, it takes everybody. It takes the tuner, it takes the driver, and it's a good combination of both to make it go down the track. It's like, people talk about, well, if the guy can just spend the money to do it, and that's really not the case. I mean, everybody there's got nice shit. I mean, there's no junk in a race like that. I mean, everybody's got a chance to win. There's 70 some cars there that I'd say 60 of them had a chance, but it's just, if you can make the right runs at the right time, then it works out. And it's just it's a really cool experience.
It's ultimate teamwork. There's a lot of people that go in and make that shit happen, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now, Pro Chargers come out, and they were kind of like the it thing there for a little while. And then it seems like they kind of faded off a little bit. And now, like, obviously you're running good with the Hearts Charger on it. You see a lot of these guys maybe running back to try to do the Pro Charger thing, or are they're pretty much going to stay what they're doing?
I think some of the guys that were like Pro Charger guys, maybe that switched to screw blower or something and going back to something, or turbos, probably turbo, and a combination of both, really, I think are sticking with Pro Charger. I mean, I think Pro Charger probably makes, they've updated something. And I think that the performance aspect of them are similar. I think, in my opinion, the Hearts is more durable piece. I just don't know what they're going to get into now that you've got two things. And I reference polling with this, like from the Super Farm days. Like, I mean, are you going to get a new cover and wheel and whatever every other week to increase? And are we going to go through that game or not? I'm not sure how that's going to work out. So I'm sure they're continuing to research different designs of stuff. And, I think it's just, it'll be back and forth, but it needed to happen because, Pro Charger didn't have any competition. So they just laid back and said, our shit is good. And so until I get somebody that's going to make something better than we've got, we don't have to do anything.
Right. Yeah. I just seen through like Jeremy Nelson's tweets or Snapchats and stuff when he's down there for the early race this year. They had that Charger apart about every run, measuring and checking, and seems like they're kind of picking on you a little bit, maybe.
Oh, they were. We went after I beat Lyle Barnett in the first round of this last race. I mean, they picked it apart to everything for some reason. Like, I don't know, we're cheating with something.
That's not uncommon though in drag racing form. If you're on a hot streak and doing good, they come after you, right?
Oh yeah. And I think the new guy, and I'm probably not supposed to be winning, I guess. So they got to figure out why that is.
Because there was no EFI on tractor pulling. Always remember that. Peter, what's the so you're coming on hot and fast in this drag racing world. You have a pro stock, you have mini rods. Have you even thought about what the rest of 26 looks like, or are you still trying to navigate that?
I mean, we got too many signed up for the high stakes, so I think between us and the Nelsons, those will definitely be going. I'd sold the category 1 mini, which was the bore chassis I had, which was your old chassis, to Jeremy Smith. And so that's gone. And I just picked up a new chassis for Modern last week. So it's actually at Jeremy's. He's going to, paint some stuff on it and get it kind of put together. So we'll run both those for the year and see how it goes. I'm going to try and go to as many of those as I can. I mean,
was it difficult for you? Was it difficult for you to have two different tractors and make them work similar? I mean, obviously that's probably why you're changing, right?
Yeah, I just want to keep it. Yeah, I don't want to say it's difficult, but it's just nice to have them the same, as you guys all are well aware.
Sure.
And I like the Modern chat. I mean, Jeremy kind of drove the one, I drove the other for the majority of the season, and I just like the Modern chassis. I like Brad and them guys, and they're here close, and we need parts. It's easy.
Sure.
And I think we're kind of doing the same thing that Chase is doing on the new one with the reverser. So just something we want to try. And, it's that whole thing about getting weight up front. I think I ran full hitch at Farley and maybe one or two other places, but, I think I need to get to a position where you can do that at least. I mean, it seems crazy to not have to utilize all the inches you can get. So,
yeah. Hell yeah!
So
brother.
how about the pro stock? Is it in the corner? Is it for sale? Or are you going to run it or what?
It's probably not going to be run too much. No. So it's probably on. That's probably I'm probably at the end of my era in pro stock pulling. I'll just put it that way, I guess.
Do you like spark plugs more than diesel?
Yeah, and I tell you what, you dump methanol in your clothes and you can go home, nobody knows. Now diesel, that shit lays around for weeks. So
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
and it's funny because I always was like anti, anything with spark plugs, and I've learned a whole ton of stuff. I mean, just from the minis on. I mean, I probably hadn't changed spark plugs much my whole life. Now I've changed 5,000 spark plugs as you change them every pass pretty much. So
Everything's a lot easier to pick up. It's easier to change the head. It's easier to tear the motor apart. You're not filthy, dirty, and all that stuff. I mean, there are some advantages.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's just, I think it's crazy how much, correlation there is from parts manufacturers and that kind of stuff from the Mini to the Pro Mod, I mean, still, they're both Hemis. They're both same bore space Hemis, or what I have now, at least.
So does that mean you're going to get like Pro Line to get you a new setup for the Mini?
I don't think so. He talked. Didn't they do one for?
Well, yeah, I'm not talking talking pro charged or anything. But is there any thoughts of
just an AJ motor
utilizing the AJ motor?
Yeah. I don't know. Eric Dillon and I talked about it a little bit, but I don't think that's a space they want to get in at the moment. So,
the water's deep. Me, Rob, pulling Peter Norton.
Yeah, I know.
Is this a gateway drug to maybe a modified in the future?
Ooh, I don't know. I think like a 2-engine one would maybe be okay, the light one or whatever.
That's a gateway drug, Peter. That's how they get you. They're like, look, this isn't that bad. The drive line will live. You don't have to work on tires. Next thing you know, you're just destroying your rear axle at least once a summer, it seems.
No,
like.
I do think that I don't think I really have much desire for a full-blown 4-engine tractor, but I think one of the 2-engine ones would be kind of cool to run.
Tyler, the 2-engine deal is not hard on your behind engine maintenance program.
That's what I'm saying. The 2-engine is a gateway drug, but once you have that thing sitting there and you got a couple spares, next thing you know, you have a couple of barley pops with your buddy, and you're like, Bowling Green's coming up. We got those 2 engines there. Them fuckers will bolt right on that gearbox there. I tell you what. Next thing you know, you're running a 4-engine tractor. You gotta be careful.
See it happening.
Peter, what's your so you said your pulling plans as far as drag racing goes? It seems interesting as a fan, because I'm a fan, like seeing all the movement and different opportunities over there. Do you have is it a week at a time, or are you running a circuit, or what's your plan for this summer for that, or this
With the Pro Mod?
Yeah, Pro Mod drag racing.
We're going to go to IHR. The first IHRA event at a Galat, I think, is be 2 weeks from this week, I guess, like the 19th and 20th. So we'll be there that week, test a little bit, and see how it goes. Our current plans are to try and run the IHRA points. I think it's 10 races. I say this all the time. Hooks, or I'll start talking about something reference, and it's pulling. But it's funny. One of the announcers I had raced, and I think I won whatever I did, and he said they got a full pull. I was like, oh Jesus, here we go. So, so we're gonna try and run the IHRA points thing and really start doing that. And they've got that. I don't know if you've seen. They've got the Triple Crown thing, which is three races that pay $100,000 each to win, and then if you win all 3, you get $1 million. So that's kind of a cool deal.
That ain't bad.
And I think the high stakes pull at Milan is the same weekend as the Pro Mod race at Milan.
Ooh,
she'll be doing both that weekend. That'll be pretty cool.
So I think that'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, that is cool.
Other than that, I mean, obviously, we'll probably go to Bowling Green and just kind of whatever we can do in between. I think when we talk. Like I said, this time last year, I hadn't run the Mini yet, and I really enjoyed it. It exceeded my expectations by all means. So,
what's one thing that you learned this year driving about a Mini that maybe you didn't expect coming in?
How bad the damn thing shakes.
Really?
Yeah, that's how I feel, at least. The Pro Stock's so big and heavy, thing little, it moves around, and I don't know. And it's a whole new world, really. There's nothing other than maybe throttle control. There's nothing similar to a Pro Stock between that and a Mini. And
that's funny you say that, because when I drove, like, if you drove an older Mini with a 106 Rockwell in it, these ones with planetaries don't shake at all. So for you to say that how the vibration, that's kind of weird to me to say. You should have climbed on an old one, man. Those things, they'd shake the teeth out of your mouth.
It was
But
a
no,
struggle.
I think that's correlation to the track as well, probably too. Some
Right.
of these, you get like I went to, I think when we did this first rant a couple times was at Nashville, and I don't know if you remember Nashville last year. The track was junk, so
Yeah.
it wasn't a good place to try it out. I think I blew a fuel line off or something, then we burnt a piston. So it was I didn't really have a pass before we went to Farley, and then went to Farley and got second. So that was kind of cool. And
Yeah,
I mean,
I noticed like that first run, man, that thing hiked the front end up, and you stabbed the brake like right at the perfect time because it could have got ugly pretty quick there.
Yeah, that's maybe just luck.
Skill.
And I think
That's
going to
skill.
Bowling Green.
That's all
It's not
skill.
luck. It's not luck. It's there's something to that.
There's something to it.
There's not many people could jump in a pro stock me run and a pro mod and have success. So appreciate your humility. That's pretty cool though.
Yep.
They're all a lot of fun for sure. And I mean, it's like Bowling Green. I think we got 6th on Friday afternoon, and then 5th on Saturday night. And I think I broke a blower belt both times. So, it's some of those moments in front of that big crowd that everybody loves. I mean, that's, pulling at Louisville or pulling at Bowling Green are comparable in my opinion.
You won't see that at any drag race you go to. I not trying to be anti drag racing, but they don't have those type of crowds at a pro mod race. Just so
No.
you're
Oh yeah, no, I get it 100%. Yeah,
Peter,
they had a good crowd at Bradenton. That was kind of impressive. So,
Peter, you're running your mini ride this weekend. I saw at Fort Wayne. Or
Yeah.
is Jeremy?
so
is that the that was the one you ran last year, right?
correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the plan at least. So we'll see how the next day or so goes here.
Coming right up.
If you need a substitute driver, there's 3 guys here who will be driving for you. Well, actually, 2. I'm not driving it. Those 2 can.
I think Jeremy's kind of a substitute driver. That's pretty established.
Yeah, Jeremy's got that like 165-pound frame, maybe less. That probably is more. Probably better suited than old Tubby over here. Me, I weigh about 210 right now.
Well, I was trying to figure out if neither one of us could go, I was gonna shoot Tyler a text, say, hey, it's probably pretty close for you. Come on down.
There you go.
Yeah,
What better way to negotiate than on the podcast?
If you need me, Peter, I tell you what, I'll start starving myself now, and I should be down to 200 by the time Fort Wayne rolls around.
My grandpa always said if you shit more and eat less, you'd be losing weight quickly. So
Yeah, that's pretty
right.
much it. It's pretty basic, really. There's nothing to it.
It's
math.
subtraction, right?
yeah, exactly.
So if you do drive, I guess it'll be your first time driving a mini indoors then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always. Do you wear earplugs?
No,
I
You
never
don't?
have either.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. It should be quite interesting. I think it seems to me like the ceiling it's taller than Cloverdale, but it looks obviously a lot shorter than Freedom Hall, I guess. So it should be interesting how it sounds in there.
Yeah, I
feel
pulled
like
my
those-
super farm up there in like 2006 or 5, somewhere right there, I think.
Okay. I feel like they had some pretty big, obscure looking, like almost light fixture type deals, and I'm curious to see how those are going to fare throughout the weekend.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe not well.
It's possible. It's possible.
Peter, where can fans expect to see you again in a pro mod race? I know you said IHRA. You said it's in a couple
Yeah,
of weeks.
Galot, I think is whatever done. I don't know what's called now, probably Durana or something, IHRA in North Carolina. Be 2 weekends from this weekend, 2 weeks from now.
I think it's really cool how, obviously if your drag race is going on in the middle of the summer, you would probably have as much fanfare around it. But, like, it's cool that pulling fans can get behind a guy that they know that's drag racing as they do the Sheltons and see how you do. So for anyone tuning in, Peter's going to be running the IHRA circuit here in a couple of weeks. It gets going in Galot, and he'll be in a mini rod this weekend and driving who knows what the next few months. So Tyler and Adam, I don't know what else we have. We wanted to honor our fellow pulling brother with his accomplishments on this podcast. I think you're one of the only guys besides RJ Simon's been on for 2 times. So credit to you for earning that accomplishment. Yeah. So I don't know what else.
I appreciate you having me, and I enjoy watching your guys' show when we do. So,
yep. Tyler, Adam, anything for Peter before we sign off?
No,
No, sir.
Should be pretty fun this summer. I think it's gonna I think this high stakes thing is going to be pretty neat for all us mini rod pullers.
Peter, do you have any idea on the criteria to get in that?
What's that?
How
to get in the high stakes?
How did anyone get in it?
You got to weigh under 210, I think, is what they said.
Oh, that's it. I gotta
Hey,
eat less and shit more.
There you go. I haven't heard about the surfing thing until I was listening to that earlier. I had to go look that up. I hadn't heard about the guy surfing on the pulling sled.
Oh, you didn't know we were trying to ruin pulling earlier today?
That was crazy.
Dude,
crazy.
People were upset with us.
How'd he get up on there?
We don't want to talk about any of this right now.
Well, no, this is fair.
Peter,
Peter's asking a question.
You get blamed for ruining pulling if you talk about this.
Yeah. So Peter, what happened is the sled was backed under like where some chairs overhang the cab, and the guy jumped from up there and probably jumped down like 6-8 feet, landed on the cab, and then kind of went for a ride, but then went flying off at the end. And
I saw that. Who was the sled? I didn't see.
I think it was Mark Bingham.
I don't know what sled it was.
Yeah, I shouldn't speculate. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Sorry to ask.
I mean, it's a good question.
We waste a lot of time of our lives to come on here every other week to try to ruin pulling, in case you didn't know. So
yeah,
that's really our motive. In case, just want to put it out there.
Well,
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Looking forward to watching you kick some ass this summer. Hopefully, specifically in a pro mod, but we'll take an ass beating from you too in the mini.
Hey, Tyler, we're still up for that dragon drive sometime.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna.
You want to go to drop? You want to go to drop the hammer?
When is that? We'll look it up. We'll talk about that. Maybe.
Right.
That may be a good one.
Peter, salute, much respect. Thanks for coming on, man. We'll be in touch.
Thanks,
man.
See ya.
Thanks, Peter.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
I feel like we wrapped the show now.
Yeah, he did a great job, man. Like that's pretty for him stepping in and do what he did. That's pretty neat. Glad to see. Kind of get a little insight. Jeremy Nelson went down there and he shared some Snapchats of being around at the starting line stuff. Pretty neat to see him step there and smack them boys around a little bit, huh?
I like
it. Like he. I have some friends in drag racing, fortunately, just through the shit that we do with Chuck Ford and so forth, and like those guys are scared of him. Like they are scared of him.
You're gonna hurt someone's feelings by saying that.
No, but because like he's apparently, I don't know what takes good, what qualifies as good driving, but he's been a very good driver and backed it up multiple times. So it's fun to see. You can imagine what I say to him. Like I told you, pulling's way harder.
Nope, Peter said it himself. Drag racing is a bigger rush, but he said the mini rod's comparable.
Yeah, no, it's fun, and the Sheltons too. Like, dude, the Sheltons have they've won events, they've been successful too, and just having that crossover, I think there's nothing bad that comes out of that for the sport of pulling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess the only time that we've mentioned anything about a Fort Wayne pull that's actually this weekend is about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, so, we have. Dude, pulling is here. We have this weekend. We got the Southern Swing starting next week and the week after. I think, 2 weeks from now, we'll be talking the 18th, I guess it is. And we are going to pick apart the Southern Swing on this podcast, right? We're going to nitpick everything, say everything went wrong, and really excited about the amount.
When do the lineups get released for that? Is that the beginning of next week? Because don't you have to have your submission
it's early next week, but I think we're going to try to maybe work through that to put it out there before. There's 20 mini rods confirmed. There's 13 or 14 light mods, 16 diesel four-wheel drives, and I believe 21 or 22 4-1 tractors. So it'll be a 2-track show. Hopefully not too long. But you never know how that stuff goes. And, what's funny is we always have opinions of how to do this better, do that better, make pulling a better show. And with your all's input, even though you won't be there, this is our opportunity, right? So we're going to try to do the best we can. And I want everyone to critique what we can do better, and we'll try to do it better for the second weekend Satsuma. So really excited, and hopefully the weather's good and fans show out. So.
All right. Well, gentlemen. Been good.
It's been good. Thank you again for everyone. We apologize.
So does that mean we're going to have a podcast?
Mad.
So are we going to have a podcast in between those two pools with you, Chase, or are you going to be so deep in work there that you're not going to be able to get to us?
So I think the fans will love to hear this. So I sent a note out earlier, I guess maybe a day or two ago, don't remember which was, say, hey guys, can we do this podcast again on Thursday? And I got scathed. Like, I got told, like, dude, this ain't all about you. The fans are right. You're a dickhead, blah, blah, blah.
There might be some slight embellishing here now.
No, but we do everything together as a unit, I'd like to say. And we have each other's back in all this because we choose to do this. I did ask about moving this podcast back for my own convenience. It was for me. And we're doing it on Wednesday night. That's it. That's the resolution. So,
that's right. We'll see you in 2 weeks, Chase.
2 weeks we'll be in Florida somewhere. Hopefully not reporting on any turn of events that puts the future of pulling at risk, as people say. So
do you want to make any bets with yourself? Like you're going to place higher than X or else?
The other thing is we're doing test passes there on Thursday night. That's probably something
we don't practice. You don't practice.
No, we're going to practice these events, though.
You going to get Stevie Fast down there to do some practice laps?
There's going to be test passes. I'm probably going to run my mini rod on Thursday night to make sure it runs, just to be fun.
First pass, not even in competition. First pass is practice.
And I'm going to set the sled myself. I'm going to go 400 feet. I'm going to say, boys, this is a bad motherfucker.
No, man.
I think we're going to have to change the name of this podcast to Adam and Tyler No Practice and Chase Practice Podcast.
That would be appropriate.
I appreciate us having each other's back. That's great.
Yeah, that's right. All right, gentlemen. If there's one thing we suck at, it's goodbyes. So I think this is
Thanks, everyone. We'll be back in a couple weeks. We apologize again for anything we did to offend anybody. Our intentions were good, but we are not perfect. So cheers. See you in a couple weeks.
Cheers. See ya.
See ya.
That's a wrap.
Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the No Practice Podcast.
Have a good one. Bye.
Stay tuned for the next episode, where we guarantee there still won't be any practice.